prove me wrong.
When you saw yourself in your mind's eye fighting in Vegas, what was it like? What were you doing?
I was winning. You know, you come to Las Vegas, right? You've seen the movies, you've seen all the TV shows and all the big fights. You come here and you see your face up all over the show. Billboards everywhere and big TV screen, massive on hotels and full-size hotel screens. I look at that and I go, oh, that's Tyson Fury. Wait a minute, that's me. Dream come true.
When you were down, did you think you'd get to a place like this?
I didn't think I'd go anywhere apart from a padded room. That's how down I was. So to be here now a couple of years later after that, it's not only a miracle, but a blessing from God as well. After only 2 years ago, being on the verge of suicide and being as low as any man can go, to being on the biggest stage in the world with the world watching, if that ain't a miracle and a turnaround and a true show that anybody can come back from anything, then I don't know what is.
Welcome to the neighbourhood. Did you know that Geico could help with your homeowner insurance?
Cookies.
Oh, it's my mum's secret.
How dark was it?
When you're waking up and you don't want to live anymore, you know, it's hard for me to say sat here because I'm not thinking in that mindset anymore. But there was a number of years where I did not want to live on a daily basis. I said to God, why have you let me wake up this morning? Why didn't I die in my sleep? And I had no real reason. There wasn't one thing that made this happen. This is a continuous journey for years and years and years of depression and anxiety.
Why did that hit you? You were the champion of the world. You were the baddest man on the planet.
Of course, but it wasn't after the fight. I've been suffering with it my whole life. You know, I was a little boy and I didn't know what this feeling was. I used to feel horrible, terrible, feel like I was being left behind or something was wrong. And even though nothing was wrong. And I later found out, 27 years later, that it was anxiety that I've been suffering with my whole life. The feeling that something's about to happen and nothing happens. Terrible. So after I won the championship off of Vladimir, the Everest was climbed. There was no more for me to do. In my mind, I'd achieved everything I ever wanted to do. One, being world champion, and two, beating one of the greatest heavyweights of the last 20, 30 years. When I was 14, 15 years old, I used to watch Vladimir Klitschko on the TV as a world champion, heavyweight champion. I used to say to people, I can beat that man. And nobody would listen. Everyone, yeah, whatever. And the more I said it, the more I believed it. And it came true. So when something like that happens, when the unthinkable becomes reality, there's just nothing else for you at that moment. If you're an addicted personality and you everything you do is all or nothing, when you achieve that greatness you've always wanted, you're like, is this it? What next? And that was exactly the point that I was at. But before the Klitschko fight, I've got guys in the team, they'll tell you the truth, with no need to lie. He said, what are you going to do after you beat Klitschko? I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Probably be depressed for the next 2 years. I said, because after every high, there's going to be a massive low. And I did. I couldn't control it. I knew it was coming, but couldn't stop it. It was like a steam train rolling at 100 miles an hour and trying to stand in front of it. No stopping it. I come from a family where we don't show love. We don't show emotion. We don't do anything like that.
Show vulnerability.
Yes. So I'm suffering with this problem on the inside, and it's like shaking a bottle of champagne up with a corkscrew half hanging out. It's going to explode. And it did. And then there was no stopping me at all.
How did you come back?
It was 2 years later. I've been out for 2 years, out the ring. I was 400 pounds in weight. They stripped all my belts off me, or I'd vacated them. I was a shadow of my former glory. I looked in the mirror and I was, what's the word? What could I, embarrassed, ashamed, let down, disappointed. There isn't a word that I could use that's worse enough that I could say. I looked at myself and I thought, you're a failure. But at this time, I still wasn't educated on mental health. I'm still thinking that I'm a piece of and, you know, I'm a weak person and all these type of things that are running through my mind all the time. And it was only when I saw doctors and professional help, people who specialise in these problems, that I was coming to grips with what I was suffering with. And it is a disease. It's a disease like no other, because no one can see it. So I started seeing these doctors, and I was still going out drinking and taking drugs, recreational drugs. My nephew was ill, so I did the same. I got on my knees and I poured my heart. I was crying. It was all wet down my chest. I was in that dark room must have been on my knees for 10, 20 minutes, thinking what I've done to myself, and just let everything I ever wanted to say out. And when I got up off that floor, I felt like I was 210 pounds. For the first time in over 2.5 years, I knew what I was going to do and how I was going to do it.
What was that?
And that was regain being the best heavyweight on the planet again.
In some measure, the routine of a fighting man's life, that's your medicine.
100%. The training is my medicine. I used to think all along it was boxing, but it's not. It's keeping fit. So without training for me, if I have a week off out of the gym, I'm severely depressed and I don't want to live anymore. And that's being truthful, even now.
It's something you have to guard against.
100%. I've got to keep that training going all the time. No matter where I am in the world, no matter what I'm doing, I've got my kit bag with me and I'll do some working out. It's easy. Everybody works out all over the world. It's not a big mission to do.
So what was the routine you and Ben reclaiming the champion who was Tyson Fury?
Like I said, it wasn't hard. We trained 2-3 times a day for months. For months and months and months. But the one thing I never lost was confidence. Ever. Confidence in my ability to win. Even when I was 400 pounds, there wasn't a man then that could beat me. Never mind today.
People watching you the night you come into the ring, some of them are going to be depressed, some of them are going to be drinking too much or high. What do you want them to see?
I want them to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Because no matter what they're going through in their life right now, I've already been there and done it. I will continue to go down that same path until the day that I die.
Fighting is your family business.
Yeah.
Both sides, right?
Yeah.
How many?
Yo, what is going on to everybody out there, man? It's your host, it's your boy, it's Rapstar motherfucking knowledge. Boxing motherfucking knowledge. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we're here to talk about different topics. And today, the topic might not be uplifting, but we as men, if you are a grown motherfucking man, or if you are somebody who's got half a fucking intelligence, and you got thick skin, then you know that mental illness, it exists everywhere today. Today, everybody's claiming they got mental illness. You know, the people that we look up to and the people that we think are the baddest man of the planet, the elite boxers. Look at Errol Spence Jr. Hey, listen, you got a fight in America, Errol the True Spence Jr. That guy's drinking all the time. He looks like he's depressed. And I'm going to say today, there ain't no more people today. There's a lot of boxers like Tyson Fury. They got some mental issues. And I think everybody's got some kind of fucking mental issue. To be fair, maybe you got some mental issues. I got some mental issues. But at the end of the day, what I'm going to say today, that the men of today that we look up to, these boxers are people that we used to look up to. Look at the boxers 20 years ago. Look at the boxers 30 years ago. You talk about Muhammad Ali's, the George Foremans, the Lennox Lewis, the Rocky Marciano. You fucking respect these guys for being tough men. But when a man says he's got mental illness, You see how these boxers are acting. Like even Javante Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. We can see it in our face that Teofimo Lopez, he even got some issues. At the end of the day, these boxers are out there with anxiety, depression, and it's more and more than it ever used to be. Why is it today that we see nothing but we hear, oh, I got anxiety, bro? What the fuck is anxiety? Years and years ago, bro, anxiety was kick your fucking self in the head. My dad would beat the fuck out of me if I said I got anxiety. I'm just saying. Now I'm saying that today's environment, if you got depression, you got anxiety, it turns to mental illness. When Adrian Broner said he got mental illness when he couldn't fight Brandon Figueroa. When Ryan Garcia says he's got mental illness. You know that some boxers do have some issues out here. We can see it. Right? At the end of the day, we're not stupid. Men lie, women lie, but my eyes don't lie. And we can see that a lot of people, the boxers, they have a different way of acting, bro. I think they live in a lonely fucking world, and I think they got a lot more enemies than they have. You see how these boxers are talking today? Are these the men that these are boxers that we look up to? I'm just saying, I respect these boxers for fighting through their mental illness. I'll give them that much. I respect these boxers for fighting through their mental illness. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury's fighting through, he fought through his mental illness. You can only admire that and respect that. You can see that boxers have got problems more than before. Adrian Broner, you can't tell me Adrian Broner ain't got issues. You can't tell me Adrian Broner don't have fucking mental issues, bro. Broner's all over the fucking place. Javante Tank Davis. Yo, Tank Davis looks like he got CTE. I'm just saying, Tank Davis looked like he got CTE, bro. Look at Ammo Williams. What was Ammo Williams doing not long ago? He started putting up some crazy tweets against Eddie Hearn. And then he said that he needs to go and see he was mentally not feeling good. He had some mental issues. A man like Nigel Benn went through a lot of depression in England. And he had ended up having mental issues. My thing is this. When I look at it, and I look at the structure of boxers and mental illness. Give me a sec. Now, what I'm saying is, right, we got to recognize this as fans. I believe fans have become harsh. In this sport, I think fans don't give a fuck if boxers have got mental issues. When a boxer comes out and says he's got mental issues, and you can see a boxer's got mental issues, ain't no fans give them any mercy. Fans don't like weaknesses. I think a part of us don't like seeing these boxers say they're mentally weak. A part of us don't like hearing that these boxers have got anxiety issues. A part of us don't like hearing that the sport that we follow, that these guys are talking about what's the demons in their brain all the time. Because what we want to hear is stone cold warriors. What we want to see is people who don't speak that weakness shit. Because mental illness, I ain't gonna lie to you, years ago, I'm talking years ago, if you spoke about mental illness, you'd be looked upon like you're a weak man. If you said years ago that you had any mental illness issues and you were a man, especially a man, you will be looked upon like a weak person. People would say, oh, you know what? He's a bit fucking crazy. People would say he's a bit fucking crazy. Fuck this mental cunt. This is how they used to talk about mental people. When you used to say that you had any mental issues years ago, it will be like people will curse you. Like real men, OGs and gangsters, or people which were tough men who come from tough environments. They would look at you as a weak person making excuses. But today, mental illness is looked upon with a lot of more sympathy, and that you got to encourage and you need to help mental illness. And it does exist on the toughest people. Look at Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia broke down in front of everybody in the world. Said that he'd been having anxiety issues. Danny Garcia said that he'd been feeling a certain way. You get what I'm saying? You can see when a man was breaking down, and that was Danny Garcia. So yeah, they have these issues. And I think also some of it comes from, you look at what CTE includes. A motor change such as a terror and a Parkinson's changes such as mental slowing, memory and defects, and psychiatric changes such as explosive behavior, morbid jealousy, and pathological insication and paranoia. You know, when you take punches and you're in a sport like boxing, this is what you can fucking suffer. It's simple. Do you get me? If you're in a sport of boxing, let me tell you this now. Punches to your head will end up making you get paranoid. Just like you can see it here. Right? At the end of the day, my thing is this. Fans don't respect fighters like they ever used to. And they don't realize what the fighters can go through. They're human beings just like you and me. But it's just as fans, we don't want to see no fighters act like they got issues. Deep down inside, we don't like it if a fighter has anxiety issues or depression, paranoia. These are all forms of weaknesses. But at the end of the day, the man who fights through it should also get a lot of respect. It's the man who fights through it also gets a lot of respect. So my thing is this. When you see this and fighters saying they got issues, or you can see a fighter, when a fighter says he wants to kill himself, should there be some kind of an organization for boxing? Why is boxing not helping fighters when they're coming out saying they got these kind of issues? When you can see fighters have got issues, why is there not a 3-month mental assessment? Why don't there be something in this boxing organization, right? That federations are out there to invest, to help fighters to be mentally checked. Let me tell you why. Boxing's for psychotic people. Now let's get to the point. To be in boxing, you got to have something psychotic with you in your head to want to be in this sport, to want to take punches and give punches and train 7 days a week and be a person who wants to be in the sport of boxing, bro. You got to be mentally fucking sane with you. Boxing needs crazy people in the sport. Because if all of a sudden they started doing a mental assessment on these boxers and started saying they need mental help, and in reality, most of them probably do, you will lose half of the boxers straight off. Because everybody's going to be in a certain climax in this sport. If they did a mental assessment check with most of these boxers probably do need a psychologist. Some of these boxers probably do need mental help. So they will probably lose a lot of these boxers anyway. And the boxing industry, yeah, they don't give a fuck. The boxing industry don't give a fuck about you being psychotic, mentally crazy, even though if you've come up open to say, I tried to kill myself. Teofimo Lopez said he tried to kill himself. Ain't nobody checked him on that. Ain't nobody checked him on that. That Teofimo Lopez said that he tried to kill himself. Or in his brain, he thought about killing himself. Boxing shouldn't allow people, if you think about it logically, right? If you thought about killing yourself once, really, in reality, you need fucking help. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be boxing. Of course, that's what's going to help you. But of course, boxing should provide. In this industry, boxing should provide help for a man's assessment in his mental background and his mental check. They should be doing something about these boxers, yeah? So they can help them in any kind of way every 6 months even. They should be checking on them. Otherwise, there's going to be psychotic people like there's always been. See, boxing's for psychotic people. I don't want to say this. But there is some psychotic mad motherfuckers in the sport of boxing. You got to be fucking mentally mad, some of these guys are, bro. Some of these guys are sitting there saying they want to fucking kill a man. That's how they think. You got to think like that if you think that you're going to be in this sport. What, you think you're going to be a fucking kind, nice fucking person in your brain when you go in against a fucking next man that you got to take his head off? See, boxing makes you think a certain way, bro. Even if you're a nice guy, you got to keep that mad thing about you to know that you got to go in that ring. That nice guy flips. You get what I'm saying? That nice guy flips in your fucking brain. You become an assassinator. Every time you go in that ring, you got to think, I'm taking this man out. Otherwise, he's taking my family out. Remember that. If I was that boxer, I'd be going in that ring thinking, wait there, I'm doing this for my kids. No matter what happens, this man's trying to kill me. That's how you got to set your mindset. This is fucking boxing, bro. You got to set your mind in such a fucking way that you're going in there to take another man out. You get what I'm saying? So my thing is this. Have fans lost in touch of what kind of humans boxers are and what they go through to be in the sport, that nowadays fans discredit and totally talk about boxers like they ain't shit? Because to be fair with you, I don't think most of us could do what these guys do. We would have to dedicate 10 years of our life to be in this kind of atmosphere. And I'm talking from being like 9 years old and maybe to 19 years old to be able to be someone who can compete in this atmosphere. Fans don't give a fuck about fighters and in their fucking problems and their mental attitudes. Fans don't give a shit if a fighter says he's trying to kill himself. They just want to see a fighter fight in the fucking ring. But what I'm saying is this mental stability of a boxer, I'd say most boxers are got mental certain issues, bro. Because they've been sitting there thinking a certain fucking kind of way. They got to put pressure on themselves. And don't forget, they're in a sport that makes them be a certain way. You get what I mean? And let me tell you something about a fighter who's a winner. A kid who's been in the game for years. When that kid even takes a loss like Teofimo Lopez, that shit ain't easy to deal with for some of these boxers. That's when you start to second guess your brain. That's when you know that you're going to keep asking yourself these questions. Am I good enough? And then you got to regroup and reprove yourself. At the end of the day, you need a strong mindset to deal with a lot of things in boxing. So maybe if you got a mental issue, you got to use it to your advantage and make that mental issue work for you in boxing. Like you're psychotic. Like you're kind of psychotic, bro. Let me tell you. At the end of the day, you got to be a certain kind of a fucking way. You can't let things get to you too much. You got to think a certain kind of way. But like I said, in boxing, nobody gives a fuck about a fighter if he's having really mental issues. Because you're in a warrior sport. You're in a stone cold sport. You're not in a sport which is where you're playing golf, that you're having a breakdown. You're in fucking boxing. You better have your shit together. But you know, boxing is 90%. What is it? Boxing is 90% mental. But yo, give me a second, guys. I'm going to be back in a minute. We're going to see no one else but my chick, Tracy.
Right, what's going on here, Donny Zonderlex? Barry's actually going to propose to Sandra. Sandra has been giving Barry mad head lately, and he's whipped, yeah? He's doing this behind the back of the boys because they know, yeah, they would have cussed him out for proposing to Sandra. Tracy had one job to do, and that was to record it. But she's all over the bloody place. Barry's clocked that she didn't get the footage, so he's going to propose to Sandra again. Oh, for fuck's sake, Tracy! What's going on?
But yo, let's give a shout out to everybody. I can see the panel now. Rap star's waking up. Supposed to have a guest coming in talking about what should happen for boxers. Should they get sports psychologists? Should they be seeing counselors more? Should boxers be having an assessment? Should the sanctioning body pay for their fighters so that they could get more help if they've got mental issues? But yo, let's see who's in the building. We got Hayes in the motherfucking building. Smash that like button, bro. We got Little Java. Darth and Data Ender says it's mental health everywhere. Data Ender says in 2022, mental health and mental illness is growing more and more between men today. To be honest, mental illness and all these problems is more happening with men today than ever. John McSmith says salute to Rapstar. Salute to you, John. Jeff Lucita says I'm a Fury fan, but I don't want to hear about his mental health or drug addiction anymore. Rapstar don't take shit from no one. You know this. This is fucking Rapstar, bro. Jeff says he got over it. That's good for him. But a lot of people do the same shit and don't praise or move the fuck on. Eric Gomez, what's going on, bro? Bacon and eggs. What's happening, bacon and eggs? Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Yes, mate. Let's go. Real Boxing TV. What's happening, bruv? Hey, we all got fucking problems, but men don't talk about them. You know what I'm saying? Men are looked upon like weak when they come out with that shit. Yes, man, my brethren from England. What's going on? Halim. Hawker Mustang, the one and only. One of my main first original subscribers is Hawker Mustang. Hawker Mustang been with Rapstar from day one. Trust me. Why was Bud going 12 rounds with little scrubs at 135, but now he knocks everybody out cold at 147? How are you going to explain this, Rapstar? Well, I'll tell you that in a minute. Did you see the Everlast gloves? Did you see Bud Crawford's Everlast gloves? Or not? Did you see Bud Crawford's Everlast gloves or not? Nah? All right. Yes, Carl. What's going on, Carl? Yes, mate. How's it going, bro? Carl in the motherfucking building. Yes. Halim says there is mental illness in boxing. Most of them are deluded. Now look at Halim's statement, bro. Halim says that these boxers who claim they got mental illness, some of these boxers are deluded. Fans got no sympathy for boxers when they got mental illness. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? You get women saying that they got anxiety. Women say they got anxiety, bro. Now you got men. A lot of men saying they got fucking anxiety, bro. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? You got a lot of men saying they got anxiety nowadays, bro. Adrian Broner had anxiety, bro. Adrian Broner had anxiety, bro. Amo Williams had anxiety. You know what I'm saying? That's what's leading them into a different situation. But you say about men years ago, you talk about men years ago, Ryan Garcia had anxiety. You get what I'm saying? But you say this years ago. If a man says he got anxiety years ago, what would men think about that guy? Tell the truth. If a man had anxiety and he said, yo, bro, I got anxiety. Bro, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up about anxiety. That's what they will tell you years ago. But today, we live in a different time. Danny Garcia got anxiety, bro. You get what I'm saying? Anxiety is the most popular word now in the culture of men. That wasn't a word that people used to use openly like they fucking do today, bruv. I'm just keeping it real. I hope I ain't even, you know what I mean? I don't want to scare off the guest or anything, but you know how a rap star, I keep it 100. When I speak it out of my mind. And I put some fucking thought into that. That years ago, if men said they got anxiety, bro, talk to me. John McSmith says, I was in the nut ward and a total nutter. Well, John, you are a nutter, but we love you the same, mate. John, you are a nutter, but we love you the same, bruv. You know what I'm saying? You love boxing because everybody in boxing's a fucking nutter. You can't. John loves boxing because he loves that crazy factor about a boxer. We all got to have something crazy about us to love this sport. Let's be honest. We're all a bit crazy here. We love a sport like boxing, then we all relate to that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. What you think? Who do you think I expect you guys to be? You love a sport that Mike Tyson was a legend of, and he was the craziest motherfucker. You love a sport that the most craziest motherfuckers were. Look at Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, fucking Teofimo Lopez. We can say what we want, but we love the guy because he's a crazy motherfucker. You want to sit there and say this about Teo and that about Teo, that's all right. You can't deny Teofimo Lopez is a crazy motherfucker. He will go in the ring, he will try and take your head off. At the end of the day, there's everything what they are. We're just as crazy. We are not fans, which are fans of fucking swimming, bro. This ain't swimming. This ain't golf. This ain't tennis. Most of us come from the fucking street. What do you think this is? Most boxing fans relate with each other because we're not fucking cold. We're a bit, I'll say we're, you know, when it comes to boxing fans, right? We're very harsh people. We say what's on our mind and we don't fucking give a fuck. This is not fucking golf. This is not poker. This is fucking boxing. And boxing fans are also brutal people. Boxing fans are also people which are a bit, you know, we're very hot. We're hot-headed people. We got a lot of egos. We're, you know, I'll say boxing people are, you know, that we support people which put pain on another person, bro. So there's a bit saying, you know, that's why we relate to this sport. Not everybody likes boxing. Boxing only attracts a certain kind of a fan and a certain kind of a man. And that man has to have a lot of motherfucking passion. A man who comes into boxing, who's talking in this channel right now, in the chat, whether you're in the panel soon, these people that are coming here in my channel, we all have a lot of passion. That's the kind of people that boxing brings. We are very, and you know, some people are very emotional. Boxing fans can be emotional because they got too much passion. You know what I'm saying? It attracts a certain kind of a fan. You know, boxing fans also have got a lot of love. Some of them go on like they got a lot of hate. But you know, it attracts a different kind of fan. And that's why I got a lot of stuff in common when it comes to boxing fans. Whether I agree or disagree, one thing I know is me and that person, we got something in common. We're in this same sport in boxing. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, this is a sport that has a different kind of a meaning, and it can only attract a serious kind of motherfucker. This sport attracts people which have a mindset that know what it took for this guy to be where he is and what it took this guy to be where he is. Now let's get this shit on. We want to see a fucking fight. You get me? So whether we love it or not, or we disagree with each other, we're a different kind of breed. And we have one thing in common. We all believe something which is so similar. Deep down inside, we all believe something which is similar. And we all have a common interest. Because there's not many people. Listen, let me tell you this right now. In England, mate, 90% of the fans in England are fucking football fans. Soccer fans. What you call soccer in America. 90% of the people in England are football fans. Then we got a majority fans which love fucking cricket. I fucking hate cricket. I like football, but I don't like fucking cricket. Fucking all, mate, I can't stand that sport. Cricket fucking fans are different people. You get what I'm saying? I can relate with any boxing fan all over the world, whether he's a Puerto Rican, whether he's a Mexican, whether he's a Jamaican, whether he's an African, whether he's from China, whether he's from Japan. I can relate with any boxing fan because me and him will be having this passion and we'll be watching this fight. No matter where I travel, everybody in that stadium, in that venue, we all are watching a same fucking fight. And we all know we're here for a reason, what we want to watch. You get what I'm saying? But yo, hit that like button, people. Hit that like button right now. Come on. You know what I mean? Support the boy like Rap Star, bro. Support the boy like Rap Star. Now I'm going to say now this. I want you guys to give me the top 5 fighters that you think should be getting mental assessment checked. If there was such a thing in boxing where we can help these boxers, what fighters would you like to see get their mental health checked immediately? I'm going to ask you right now. Give me some names and I'm going to highlight it. What boxers do you believe that need immediate mental health check right now? Give me 5 fighters, bro. Let's see if we're on the same page. Fury is at number 1. Tio, Rolly Romero, Tracy, Broner. Yeah, come on. Come on, some more names. Wilder, Tio, Spence, Charlo. Yeah, I like that one. Where's he at? Why does he say that, though? Why is he saying that, bro? Let's have a look. Give me a sec. Let me highlight these. Let me see if you was somebody who wanted to see boxers get their mental health checked, and there should be some kind of an organization, a funding, sanctioning body should be funding it. What fighters do you think, in your eyes, needs a mental health check? Mastermind, what's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think it's like you say, we got
Hey,
Tyson
this is a
Fury.
deep topic, Mastermind. This is not for everybody. You got to have some kind of a thick skin and intellectual mindset about this topic.
Yeah, you was crazy to get into the boxing. Like you said, the human brain is not to get hit. So you already got a little bit of crazy to get into this sport. And you've been getting punched in your head all your life. You done took over, 50,000 punches to your head by the time you're, 18? So you got a little bit of CTE up in there already. So this part, like you said, Mike Tyson, they was crazy. You know what I mean? Tyson Fury, he admitted to his mental health, but he still won. You know what I mean? I just don't like when people use it as a way to get out of fights and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Let it fuel you. Let your
But let me
craziness
ask you
fuel
this, brother. Let me ask you this, brother. Now I don't know about you, yeah, but you don't sound like a young guy. You sound like a guy who's a grown man. Am I right?
Right, right.
So you've been in the game for a while. What the fuck is this that you hearing all these fighters like Adrian Broner, Ammo Williams, Ryan Garcia, T.O., everybody these days, anxiety? Where's this anxiety word come from? Men didn't used to get anxiety. That was a word that women used to use years ago.
Great point. Great point. The men are turning into the
Why
women.
are men using these women words? When the fuck have you ever heard of a man, yeah, who's a tough man? Oh, yo, mastermind. I got anxiety, dude. I'm feeling
Yep.
anxiety, dude. I'm feeling anxiety, dude. I'm not going to be able to make it. Talk to me.
Let me tell you exactly what it is from the American side. My generation is from Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner. So we slowly, the man has turned into the woman. You know what I mean? So we using the same excuses. We, I'm just not mentally fit. The landlord don't give a damn. They still want their rent. So it's only excuse to people you like. Like I told you, if Devin Haney get his ass whooped against Lomachenko and then he used mental health as a excuse, all the people that hate him not going to accept it. But if it's somebody you like Ryan Garcia, you're going to accept it. Well, you don't know what he was going through. You don't give a fuck what nobody's going through unless you care about them. So the people you hate, you accept any excuse they going to give you. But the people that you like, oh man, he was going. Come on, you don't know what Ryan's going through. He had a hard time, just like he. Of course, everybody's going through. Earl Spence had a damn drunk driving accident. Everybody's going through stuff, but that's what makes you great because you use your adversity to win. You know, some of these people lost a baby. You could have lost a baby. You know what I mean? And you use that loss to help you whoop somebody ass in the ring and become the next Hall of Famer, the next great fighter. Look at Buster Douglas. He used the trauma of losing his mother to whoop Mike Tyson ass. That was mental health. But it can go both ways. It's just an excuse if you're trying to get out of something. But you can use it either
yeah,
way.
but anxiety is used nowadays that you don't, anxiety is leading you. Now that's the word, that anxiety is
Yep.
mental health.
Feminine.
Hey, yo,
It's
bro.
feminine, like you said.
Yo. No. I'm rap star gonna keep this motherfucking shit real. Mental health, where I came from years ago, is a man whose eyes have gone the other way and he don't even know who he's talking to anymore.
Exactly. Great point.
But today, that men are using words as anxiety. I got depression. It's mental health. That to me seems like a weak word, bro. You're putting yourself in a bracket. I don't know, maybe rap star sounding too harsh.
You are,
Maybe
because
no,
the
but
men
I
are
gotta
women.
keep it real though. I gotta keep it real. For anyone who really is going through mental health, then look, man, my heart goes out to you, and I hope you get all the help you can get. I really do. If it's come to that level of life, you know what I'm saying, then I hope you can get the help that you need. But when you're talking about grown men saying, yo, man, I ain't gonna be able to make it this fight, bro. I'm not feeling right. I got anxiety, man. It's playing on my mind. I got mental issues now. Yeah. What I'm saying is this is bad because the young generation is looking up to these guys like we used to look up to the bigger man. And now these guys, which are the ones to look up to, there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of depression. It is there. You can't deny it, bro. These guys are only normal fucking human beings. They might be
Yep.
boxers, but today I don't like what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, rap. Like I said, you can use anxiety. It's going to be accepted by the people that like you. But just look at the people that they don't like. They would use that again. They're going to be like, I don't give a damn about your mental health. I don't care about your anxiety. Get in that ring. I don't care. Oh, you don't want to practice today? You don't want to train today? Oh, you going to use it. Now, just think if you catch a murder case or something, what they say, you want to play crazy. Oh, let me play crazy because I don't want to go to prison. That's what it's about. You're using it as an excuse, as a way to get out of stuff. Oh, man, I couldn't go to work today. My anxiety is bothering me. Yes, it's just an excuse. It's always been there. It ain't like it just appeared, but now it's acceptable by society. It wasn't accepted when we was growing up. Like you said, that was what the women used. But now as a man, you can use it to get out of things with the internet, with the involvement of the internet. It made us soft.
Yeah, but I just don't know, man. I want to ask the people. I want to see what they think about this, right? And like,
Hmm.
look, at the end of the day, man, this is the kind of way that I see that anxiety. The word anxiety is getting connected to mental illness. Now they're saying that the man who's got anxiety, he's got mental fucking issues, right? He's
Right.
saying the man who's got anxiety is saying I've got mental issues. I think we're leading the young generation of these new kids into a society of failure and finding ways. I don't want to sound bad though. You hear me, mastermind? Because I still
Yep.
respect the people which have got anxiety. If you really got anxiety, then you know what I mean. At the end of the day, that then you got to get your help. But if you're gonna use anxiety as mental fucking illness, bro, then to me, that's seeming like you just asking for a way out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're not looking to face up to your shit here now, bro.
Yep. You remember Ryan Garcia used the mental health anxiety to get out of the Devin Haney. He was the mandatory. Oh, I got see. It's so easy to go to that instead of just saying, "No, I don't want to fight that guy." No, let me use something that the pussy people gonna accept. See, the people are sensitive now, so they accept any bullshit you tell them. So you could tell these soft ass new men anything, and they gonna believe it because what they call it fanboys. Nah, we come from the school of hard knocks. We don't want to hear that shit. You get your ass in there, you do them 5 miles, you run it because, like you said, that's the one. Michael Jordan is better than everybody else because he didn't let anxiety and mental health get to him. I am the champion. I will whoop anybody that gets in the ring with me. I don't give a damn what's going on in my life. You see all them excuses they came on with T.O. lost to
Mm,
Cambosis? Oh,
mm.
his baby mother was in his head. What about the other dude, baby mother? Do you think he don't have they got the same damn problems? We all got to say we all human. So don't tell me about your shit. I got my own damn problem. Help me pay my fucking rent. The fuck?
Yeah, you know what? This live ain't for everybody, bro. At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, if you're a sensitive person and you're a person who's turned to become one of these people who always wants to jump on the sympathy bandwagon, then this channel ain't for you, bro.
Yep.
This channel ain't for you. I'm not here to start to, I'm not no doctor. But where I came from, bro, I didn't like where boxers are saying what they're saying. Now, I'm not saying that they weren't saying it before, but it's making my sport look weak.
Mm-hmm.
It's making my sport look like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, that now boxers, they suffer from a lot of anxiety and a lot of mental issues, bro.
Oh, let me give you proof, rap. This is proof. When say you getting like you said, football is big over there. You get people. You have the tryouts. You're weeding out the people with anxiety. Okay, you got too many anxiety. Cut, cut, cut. Only the strong is getting on the team because we trying to win the World Cup. I'm not letting you weak ass mentally unstable people on my team. Because I can't count on you because anything come up, your ass gonna fold. I want the stronger of the strong. So if you picking people that's mentally weak, you're not gonna win championships.
Yeah, let's talk to Australia. We got Carl in the building. Carl, how's it going, mate?
Hey, good. How you going, fellas?
What do you think about this
Yeah.
subject? I mean, it's
I,
sensitive subject in today's environment, right?
yeah, but it's got to be spoken about, bro. It's got to be spoken about. It's been taboo for too long, you know.
Yeah.
It's got to be spoken about. And I think the other brother hit the nail on the head, man. Like it's you know, like what you said, Raphael. It was a term that was endeared by women in the 80s and into the 90s, and you know, now it's just, yeah, it just seems to be everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, and we've all got fucking issues, man. I don't want to bore you with mine, man, but I've had a cunt of a year. I've had an absolute cunt of a year. But you know what? I got to get my ass up and get my ass to work every day, just so I can provide and put food on my fucking table, mate, for my kids. So people that want to use this shit as an excuse for fucking, I don't know, to get sympathy, go fuck
I mean,
yourself.
I'll tell you why it sounds worse, right? People say like Carl, right? He's a hardworking man. He's gone through a lot of fucking struggles himself, but he has to keep himself mentally focused to do what he's got to do to live every day. And then you got guys like Ryan Garcia, Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia, and all these other guys that always lately are saying they got anxiety problems or they got mental issue problems. But these guys, people can't. Some people think, well, they got multi-millions of dollars, they got so much money, but they're spoiled. But the problem here is, it doesn't mean if you got money that you don't have mental issues. Even if you got money, you're gonna have some issues. You just got to deal with life in a much more stronger way. Do you agree, Carl?
Oh, 100%. Look at a bloke like Shaquille O'Neal. He's got probably the biggest house in the world, divorced his wife because he played up on her. And he says he's got the biggest house in the world, but it's so lonely because there's no one there. You know, his wife and his kids are gone. So it happens to everyone, mate. But I think it's how you bounce back from shit like that, you know?
No,
Like,
do you think instead of them putting this all open that they got mental issues and all that, they should get help behind the scenes because they got the money?
of course they fucking should. We don't need to hear their
Look,
personal shit.
Tyson
We all
Fury,
got
but see, the
fucking
difference
dramas.
is when Tyson Fury went like that, he admitted he got the doctors, got the help, got the psychologist, and he goes, I've helped myself. Maybe they need to do what Tyson Fury's doing. What he's
Yeah,
done is he's gone to people and they've helped him.
yeah, and he did it after the fact. He didn't say like he's not carrying on with it now. He's not carrying on with it now, but
No.
he was saying that he had a bad run, you know, and that's what got him through. And he was one. I think he was one of the first that brought mental health out. You know, like it's something that
Yep.
definitely needs to be spoken about. But hey, we've all got fucking dramas. You don't need to. You don't need to air your dirty laundry
So,
on
okay,
fucking
let's get
social
straight
media.
to the point then, Cole. What do you think about today's men in today's society? Fuck just the boxers. When they say
Today's men,
they got anxiety, they got a lot. What do you think of this word anxiety between men getting used a lot?
I think it's a term we call it. People in Australia soft cocks. You're a soft cock. You know, look,
Yep.
just get on with it. Get on with it, man. Fucking get on with it. Same way our fathers did it, you know, and our grandfathers did it. Like, we're just getting weaker and weaker as a fucking generation. This woke generation, man, like they literally got to wake the fuck up.
Right. Right.
You know, it's crazy and it's taken over the world, man. And soon you won't have like, you know, you look at like I'm in the construction industry, right? You look at guys like bricklayers and concreters, and they're some of the hardest working motherfuckers you will ever meet in your life. And those motherfuckers wake up every morning and do the same thing over and over and over and over again. You don't hear them whinging. They just get on with it. But it seems if you got a camera in your face and you need an excuse, well, you just don that. You just wear that flag of, you know, you've got mental fucking issues. I don't know a person alive today, man, that's not going through fucking
That
struggles.
General is funny, right? But I don't want to laugh too much because General says, I've got mental issues and mental health by watching these fakers. He's funny.
Yeah. But before you know it, they're gonna be starting. The next thing they're gonna say their period zone. My period zone. Can we fight? Can we fight the next week?
They'll be
No, but
bleeding from
Carl,
dick.
what do you think about this, Carl? A fighter has to cancel a fight, or he comes after the post fight and says, I got anxiety. I got that's leading me to mental issues. I'm not able to make the fight. What do you think about this term nowadays that is going on, where a fighter feels a bit of anxiety, he's going to cancel the fight?
It's a cop
So
out,
guess
mate.
what's going to happen, Cole?
It's a
Let me
cop
tell
out.
you what's going to happen, Cole. They're gonna change the rule books like they've been changing every 5 years, 3 years. They're making men into softer fucking pussies. What they're gonna do? They're gonna allow in the rule book. Remember this, mastermind. That if you've got anxiety or depression, you can cancel the fight, and you won't be penalized. It'll be part of the rule. Like,
Exactly right.
like this has become part of the rule. If you've got anxiety and you come up on social media or anywhere and say, I've got anxiety now, boxing doesn't expect you to fight. Fans don't expect you to fight because fans have been taught that if you've got anxiety, yeah, anxiety is a massive thing. And if somebody's got anxiety, we need to support them and they're not themselves. How do you feel about that, mastermind? That they might use this as a excuse in the future, some people. Not all, but some.
It's definitely coming. You see it because now the fans are accepting it. But remember what I told you. It's only accepted by the guys you like. You don't accept it for the guys that you despise. That's why I use the Devin Haney. Okay, he can't use that. Ryan Garcia can say that because his fans are soft like him. They on they got they tampaks and stuff. But if Devin go take that L and then say, man, why did you lose, Devin? Oh, I had too much anxiety during training camp. They gonna laugh at his ass. But Ryan Garcia could use it to duck out of a damn fight. That's the difference. It's about what team. It's not about what's right or wrong because we all dealing with anxiety. We all dealing with some type of trauma, but we pick and choose who we accept it from. So treat everybody the same. Either you're gonna go with the bullshit or you're gonna, hey, it's the school of hard knocks, man. This is a
what
blood
kind of
sport.
stress? Yeah, but what kind of stress is today's generation gang with? The stress that the
Internet
generation
stress.
came, the stress that the generation came before me, before the generation when my granddad was there, he had to fight for his life to have his family in his fucking house.
I was just
Right.
about to say, what about all the men that went to war?
That was real mental illness. These generations
Yep.
today, let me tell you what I feel, Carl. This generation today, even the ones of which are at the top, even the boxers, they got internet fucking stress. They've never seen life stress to fight for their lives just to be the color of their skin. They've never fucking seen poverty or where they've come from and they have to eat the most cheapest food to survive. That's what my granddad came from. That he would have to feed others and couldn't feed himself. That's mental illness. I mean, that's stress.
Exactly.
That's mental stress. That's fucking stress.
It's
But
a
a
part of
man would
life.
deal with that stress and say, I ain't got time for that depression bullshit. I ain't got time for no anxiety because an anxiety and depression in them days, that means you were going to lose everything. Am I right, Mastermind?
100% right. You ain't have time to worry, but now you got too much time to think and feel sorry for yourself. The landlord don't care. You better come up with that rent. You better pay that mortgage. You better pay that car
Facts.
payment. They don't say, well, I couldn't come up with my car payment because I had too much anxiety, man. I couldn't go to work. Well, give me that car back, boy. Yeah, that's what you is, a boy, because you ain't no adult. Adults can't use that shit. That's for millionaire. That's for game. You just running game on people. Don't nobody got time to hear your little wimpy ass excuses. You should have
And you
heard
know,
the people in the in your comment section. Oh, Ryan, you don't know what he's going through. Bitch, we all going through something. Go get out there and knock somebody out there. Take your stress out on the out on the opponent. You ain't supposed to let them. That's why. Why do you think when you fighting a guy, he'll bring up your wife and disrespect you to the high? Because he's trying to get through to you. He's trying to make you anxiety. But a true gentleman is gonna take it like Caleb Plant and knock your ass out. He didn't care about Darrell talking all that shit. He kept it in and took it out on him in the ring. You're not
he
gonna
dug that. He
mentally,
dug that motherfucker a grave.
didn't he? Didn't he? You
Yeah.
don't let them break. You don't turn into them. You just say, okay, I'll show you some anxiety. Wake up, wake up. Oh yeah, he dug him a grave. He did dig him a grave, literally. He brought the shovel in there and hit him with a shovel in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
See, that's anxiety. Now, what if he would have let that stuff he was talking get to him? He might have rushed around and lost the fight. You gotta stay composed. You can't let the outside stuff bother you.
And let me tell you this: if people's mindsets are like these boxers, how they're talking, Cole and my mastermind, would they send people like that to the military for the war to save their country?
Oh, they wouldn't pass the psych test, bro. They wouldn't pass the psych test. Bringing that type of shit up, they'd be a liability.
Straight liability. You see, Deontay Wilder had a handicapped daughter. He let that stress turn him into the world champion because he had so much stress at home. He had to turn into a multimillionaire because his daughter had a handicap disease. So the anxiety is what made him into the beast you see today. So no, you can't talk to me about no anxiety. It makes you into a killer. It makes you successful. You
I
can
think
use
people, I think people need to harness that. You know what I mean? And
No, would you?
turn that weak.
No. But we get a lot of men which come here. I want you guys to make. Lions only says, bro, anxiety and depression is real. Do not underestimate. I'm not denying it ain't real. I wish the people which have got that really get some help. But my question is, are we breeding a society of people that also are using anxiety and depression to get away from certain things in life that they can get away with it?
Totally.
Why not fight through it? Isn't the real man who was the old school boxer, he would fight through his anxiety and depression. He wouldn't cancel his fight, bro.
Yep. So,
Go on, mastermind.
Rap, now I want to ask you this.
Are they breeding softer men the last 20 years? Is life now in our life? Come on, let's keep it real, Carl. Mastermind, everybody in the chat. I'm going to ask you this right now. Everybody in the motherfucking chat, I'm going to prove my point. Eric Gomez, Halim, everybody who's here right now, Stephen, One Epoxy Magic, El Messi, Coco in the building, General. Let's keep it real. What men do you look up to today? What men are the martyrs? What men are leading the way for other men? What men do you totally tell your son, I want you to look up to this guy's beliefs? I want you to think like this guy. The only man you're going to look up to for your son is you. Where's the man that you look up to now, like we did years ago? The Alis, the Nelson Mandelas, the Gandhis, the people which gave up their life for big fucking, for everybody else, people to look up to. What men do we look up to today as men? I want everybody to give me the fucking 5 boxes that you want your son to be like in the brain. How they portray themselves. How you want them to act. Tell me, what men do you look up to? Now I'm going to see what people are going to say. And mastermind, we don't have people to look up to anymore. We don't have men to look up to anymore. And these boxers, we like what they do, but I'm going to keep it real. Carl, I'm going to make you answer first. I don't look up to these fighters like I used to.
Nah, I don't either, bro. I'm at the age now where I'm more of a fan of the sport than a fan of a certain fighter. You know, I'm in my mid-40s, mate. I'm not a little spring chicken, so I don't fanboy for anyone. But with the right mindset, I'd have to say Virgil Ortiz would be on the top of my list. Just the way he moves and the way he's just a good dude, and he's not all about the big cars and the jewels, and you know, he's just getting his work done and just making good fights.
Look, I get that, but we're talking about people when years ago you were always inspired by other men, how they walked, talked, what they became, and you used them as inspiration. Even the people that you saw, how they had charisma. how they used to speak, how they used to be. The Bruce Lees, Muhammad Ali's, people which had that aura about them that you used to respect. Have we lost that in looking up to these fighters in that kind of way anymore?
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone you can sort of look up to. I
Who
don't
do you
look up
think,
to them.
Mastermind? I mean, do you agree with Carl? Mastermind, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yep. But I look up to guys because they
They're
go
called role models. They're called role models.
like I look through Tyson Fury fighting adversity and making it back to the top of the game. Deontay
No, I
Wilder.
respect their game. I respect the game. We still have the respect factor. But
Hmm.
actually looking up to the men like we used to, intellectually, how you would look at a man like the Ali's, the Bruce Lees. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Do you
Um.
see these? Do you look up to them like that?
Yeah, I look up to a guy like Devin Haney going, be that
Yeah.
young, going over there winning it. I think he a good example as a great young man. He's good for the youth to look up to.
No,
He,
no. But look, what it is, I don't want my son to be out there pushing gold chains and pushing big cars. I want him to finish his career and then he can have all the chains and car. I'm not saying Devin Haney ain't doing good. He might be an inspiration for kids, but
mm,
he's not out there showing the kids how to be.
mm-hmm.
We ain't got those kind of people. The way I'm saying, Devin
But he's
Haney ain't preaching. Devin Haney ain't preaching for those kids. He ain't showing the people how it is. He's not one of those people.
but he's showing you what hard work and dedication can get
I get that, but we don't have men's with personality. We don't
you. Yeah.
have people with wisdom. We don't have these guys who have got something that they want to do for the people anymore.
Yeah.
Look at a guy like Bruce Lee. Look at a guy like Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Killed by water.
There's
And
no
just
fucking role model. Who's the role model for your
that's it.
kids?
There's no role models. What, a fucking YouTuber?
Your role model. Let me see.
No, I'm not gonna say that when your kid's coming up, you're gonna say, yeah, you want him to be like that boxer. But you don't want them to be like the way that they are in life. See, the problem is boxers today, if you separate them from what they are in the ring, they also don't come across where they're doing any connection with the people, like they're doing anything great, where you can say, yeah, you want your kid to be like that. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is at the end of the day, these boxers today, they're great people. I'm not saying denying that. But also, they've also changed in the last 15, 20 years through social media. They've become softer in the brain now. They don't preach what they're supposed to be preaching for the next generation. I'm not saying we don't look up to them as fighters. Of course, you got to look up to these boxers as fighters. They do something great. But there's only certain fighters that have a beautiful attitude. There's only certain fighters which are really showing you what it's like to be a real, somebody real in the game, like be somebody. And it's only a minority than a majority. The minority of them are like that. Go on.
Do you think Joe Joyce is a good example?
Yeah, Joe Joyce is a good ambassador.
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao was a good ambassador for that
Mm-hmm.
kind of a person. Yeah,
Yep.
but everybody who's done achievements like that, even my boy Nanito Donaire, he's a great fucking ambassador. He's a good person. Shows you
Yep.
come from nothing, feeds his family, become a great, and then lost fights, but showed you that he was humble. He never ever fucking came on the mic. He gave you some good ways of being, right? We like those flamboyant people. We like the people, but we don't like people who also you can see are faking it. Well, I'm not going to say that boxing is full of fakes, though, too.
Yep.
You get what I'm
Man,
saying? Boxing's full of fakes, too. You got to fake it till you make it in boxing, too. Only certain people can be real and make it.
Caleb Plant, he seemed pretty humble.
Yeah, there's people to be saying they're good people, but what are they doing to connect with the rest of the men?
Yeah.
What are they doing to connect with us?
You got a point there, man. You got a real good point. I don't know. Like, because Ali, I think he said
They
the
don't
book.
do it. They don't do it. Boxers today don't do it. They're not there to provide inspiration for the youth of today.
But
They're not there for that.
wasn't boxing the most biggest inspiration for everyone?
Yep. At one time it was. That was the
Are you there, Carl?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Carl, you there? Yeah. Boxing is one of the most inspired sports. Are you inspired? Like, I'm inspired by watching the fights. I'm inspired by what they've done. I'm inspired. But are you totally inspired with the way you see today's generation in boxing and the way they portray themselves?
Not at all. Not at all.
Why
It's
not at
all.
all? I mean, some of them
Well,
are very motivated. Some
I
of
just
these,
think I think the money. People choose money over legacy, and to
so it's
me,
too much money over legacy now.
that's exactly what it is. And anyone who says it isn't is a fool. Look at Bud and Errol. That's why that hasn't happened, because it's a money issue, and one of them's going to take an L. So you can pick whatever side you want, but the fact of the matter is that both of them are arguing over money. So, it seems to be money over legacy.
Yeah, keep cooking, Carl. I'll be back in a sec. Just keep it
Yeah,
moving.
that's what gets me, man. Is it's all about the almighty dollar, and not and not about legacy. I think if they chose legacy first, the dollar follows. That's the problem. That's the
No, I'm
problem with.
saying, look, I'm going to say this. There's some serious talent in the sport. But it'd be nice to see these guys who really want to be somebody for the people as well, to show the right way, to show that, you know what, they're willing to speak what people are not willing to speak.
Well,
Do
it's
you get
all
what I
about
mean?
giving back. Give back. It's
Inspire.
about giving.
Where's the inspiration? I need to see some of these fighters come and inspire the world. You know what I'm
It's about
saying?
giving back, Rapstar. Give back to your community. Give back to your little gym where you started. You know what I mean? Give back. Go back there and inspire some young fella that might come up and might be the next world champion. It's amazing what a little bit of, what that could do to the youth today.
Yeah, but money's become the biggest object of everything today. Ain't nobody give a fuck about legacy, like you said, like they care about money today. Yeah? It's
Oh,
become so
100%.
much about money now. Everything is all about money. Life is all about money. Boxing in every shape and form is all money.
And you know
All
what? You
money.
know what gets me, Rap? What gets me right is 90% of these people, like, let's face it, boxing's not a sport of the sons of millionaires and billionaires. Boxing's a sport of people who've grown up the hard way and they've had issues and they've gone to a boxing gym to sort their issues, their anger issues as a child, to try and keep them off the streets. And it's brought them up that way. But yet it seems as soon as they get a bit of notoriety and a bit of fame, they just all turn into fuckwits.
And it's not even that. The boxers have also turned. Look at fucking Terence Crawford and all these boxers shading money in people's faces. Now they're saying, Crawford saying, fuck everybody, bro. They ain't made no money like me. Crawford saying himself, fuck these peasant motherfuckers to the fans. He was nobody once. And now Crawford's telling everybody, he said it the other day, fuck you motherfuckers. You ain't got no shit in your life. So why the fuck should I care about you motherfuckers? So what Crawford's saying is basically, right? It's all boxing fans are always going to be mostly broke. And you boxing fans don't mean shit. That didn't go down good with me though. Because I came from the hard way and I've made it. I've made something of my life. You know what I'm saying? So I know what it's like when you don't have it. But when Crawford rubbed that in the fans' faces, that's when you can see that boxers today, they will treat fans in a different way. There is no respect from boxers how they talk anymore. They don't give a fuck. What do you think about that, Cole?
Oh, 100%, bro. They just think the fans will come. The fans will always be there, But if you treat them like dog shit and like a doormat and step on them, there's only so much they're going to take before they go, you know what?
And that's your role model. That's your role model,
Yeah.
Terence Crawford, who's telling you, fuck these fucking peasants, make your money. Fuck the undisputed. He's telling you, make your money because these boxing fans, they're peasants. They got no money. Go on.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And there's only so much a fan's going to take of that shit before they go, you know what, this guy's an absolute flog. I'm out of here. And they forget without the fans, what do they got? Take the fans away from the sport. Take the fans away from any sport. What the fuck? What are you there for? There'll be no money. That's where the money's generated. You know, that's what these people don't seem to. And I think it's probably a bit of intellectual problems that they've got with basic math. If you don't have fans, mate, you don't have a fucking sport. So, yeah, I don't think I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, bro. I think the social media's got a lot to do with it too, bringing, you know, fans into their everyday life and painting this picture of this beautiful life that they live, and you know, it's all a load of bullshit. It's a fabricated fucking existence, mate. So,
No, but it's true though, isn't it? How does a fighter who comes from nothing, he knows that most of the people who follow him, or even the haters, or whatever he wants to call it, fans, look, boxers are sensitive today anyway. Boxers act more sensitive than anybody else. They're so emotional nowadays as well. The truth is, Terence Crawford, bro. What is Crawford doing telling people, go fuck yourself? I'm just wanting to fight for money. You guys don't pay my bills. You guys are broke motherfuckers. How do you think the fans feel about that?
they must feel robbed. Well, where's his money coming from? If he fucked the fans, if he wants to speak like that to his fans, where's his money going to be generated from?
Well, at this point, they paid him over the odds to be part of this boxing industry, right? BLK Prime paid him a big handsome figure, so he said, fuck the fans. You know what I mean? You guys are broke motherfuckers. How do you think I would feel if I was an American fan, bro? I'd be like, Crawford's a fucking... You sound like, you know what I mean? Hating on a poor man. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. And how much are his fans going to cop before they walk away? Because I guarantee you, mate, if you don't generate revenue, and the only way you generate revenue, mate, is by people who like watching you fight. And it's a double-edged sword too. There's people out there that want to see him get knocked out, so they're the type of people that'll want to see it. But that's you got in boxing, you got a career, you got a shelf life of a bottle of milk, mate. So
yeah, but you know what? That's some bullshit, though, isn't it? When the fans are the one who are there, it's because of them that everything goes on as well. You can't fucking eliminate them, and then you get them kind of boxers saying shit like that to the fans.
What sort of sport thrives without spectators, without fans? Name one. Name one sport. It doesn't happen, bro. Without fans, you don't have a sport. So, grassroots, mate. It comes back to the grassroots. You know, like everyone started in the gym somewhere in some little town or whatever, you know, like, and yeah, I just think it's, I don't know. Some people can't speak either, rap. You know, some people shouldn't have a fucking microphone in their hand and a camera in front of them, bro.
Crawford doesn't know how to speak anyway.
No, he never has. He never has. And that's why he's limited. That's what Bob Arum said. Bob Arum said Terence Crawford's hard to market. He's hard to market because he doesn't market himself.
Anyway, Stevens 4722 says, I like Crawford, but to say that about the fans is ignorant. We walk away from the sport, it will be all over.
Facts. That's exactly what it is. Well, could you imagine if every boxer was like that, Rap?
Imagine.
Huh. We wouldn't be talking here right now, brother. I'll give you the drum.
But boxers now are thinking different. You know the way boxers think now? Fuck these fans. Let's use the fans till we get to a point. And, you know, if we get the big money fight, we just want to get that big money now. Now there's less thoughts about, yeah, man, I want to prove myself to the rest of the world. There's less of that mindset. The mindset of a boxer has changed over the years as well.
But you know what? Life's just got too easy, mate. At the end of the day, life's just got too fucking easy.
The life is not as desperate as it was years ago.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And I think that's where it all stems from.
So I'm not saying boxers are lazier. They're not. Maybe they are lazy because life has become different. I'm not saying boxers don't train day in, day out. They do. But they can make their money now differently, some of them. You know what I'm saying? So they act a certain way. They don't have to do anything. They do what they want to do as a business. And that's just how it is. Ain't no legacy. They'll take that legacy fight if you pay them the maximum payout. Then you might get legacy fight. Money talks, bullshit walks. Ain't nobody thinking like old school anymore that I want to be a legacy guy and I want to be a man who takes everybody out just for I want to prove to the world. There's way more different thought process that really goes on behind the scenes.
Which boxer do you think brought that into the modern day sort of mindset? Rap? The money over everything.
Well, Mayweather showed everyone that anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, look at a bloke like Manny Pacquiao, mate. An 8 division world champ, brought up in a third world country, came up like you can't tell me you had a rougher upbringing than that motherfucker. And just become a champ. And look how he's revered amongst his peers, mate. Look, he could be the fucking president of the Philippines. Like, he's different mindset today, bro. Which boxer do you think could be the fucking president of any country coming through the ranks today? Fucking none.
So what's the salute? What's the situation here? Are you saying that in the last 2 decades, men have become softer?
I don't know about softer, bro.
No, not
I mean,
softer as in
mentally,
strength, but mentally.
mentally, yeah, mentally we're weak, but I think it's just how the dollar's changed, bro. How money just rules, the almighty dollar, mate, rules over everything, over absolutely everything. It's the dollar over legacy, which in years gone by the money wasn't there. But you know, you look at the four kings, mate, from back in yesteryear. Look, those dudes just kept fighting each other. They didn't stop fighting each other. And made the fights we want to see. Now, fuck, it's a blessing to get a fight that you want to see.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Too many options, right?
Yeah.
Too many options.
Yeah, and you know what? They need to start stripping motherfuckers. You know, if you're not active in fucking, I reckon you should have 8 months. If you haven't got a fight made and you don't take a Mando in 8 months, see ya, your belt's taken off you. And it's definitely the dollar, mate. It's nothing but the dollar. You know, they look at a bloke like Floyd Mayweather kicking around with, you know, $40 million watches on, and they say, I want that lifestyle. But they forget that, you know, without having fans there, you don't have that lifestyle. The fans don't come naturally. If you're a piece of shit, you're not gonna.
So let me ask you this: Is that why? Let me ask you this: Is this why the fan, the common fan today, has lost a lot of respect for the grounds of boxing, like the foundation?
The grassroots, bro, 100%. They forget where they come from, bro.
Is that why fans have lost respect for some of these people in boxing and the way that boxers are, and they overlook? Even the fans are wrong. They overlook nowadays the grassroots of what it even takes for a boxer to be where he is. So I say the boxers and the fans have got a love and hate relationship now.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The boxers are more emotional. The boxers are more emotional. They get anxiety more. So they've also are a bit more emotional nowadays because of this social media and shit, right?
Yep.
The fans are also that way. The fans don't give boxers they give them a hard time. Would you agree?
100%.
Somewhat. So now the boxers have become that way with the fans. And the fans are also some people like they don't give a fuck about the box.
Exactly right, brother.
Because then, listen, this is what's happened. The fans are getting no love from the fighters. The fans are getting no love from the fighters that way, bro.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying? All they're doing is watching the fights. But the fans are not really getting that real connection with the fighters anymore. You know what I
100%.
mean? Like you would get normally boxers would come out, right, and say, I do it for the fans. I love my fans. You know, you get boxers that really were embraced by their fans and respected and appreciate every single one of them. They were very
Exactly.
humble towards you. They had a lot of
Exactly.
respect for us. The boxers had a lot of respect for us before, bro.
Exactly right, bro.
What
I'm
do you
just going to
think
go
of
on
that?
mute. I'm just going to go on mute for a minute, bro. I just got to put this baby down.
Yeah, yeah. I look at that single dad as well. Respect to Carl for doing what he's doing as a single dad. But let's go to the chat, bro. If not, I'm going to shut this one down. If there's nobody who wants to speak, I told you, mental health in men has become such a sensitive topic that people don't even want to jump on it today. I feel that way today. Because it's such a sensitive topic. We're living in 2023, bro. Give me a second and I'll be back. I might go in on this again. Give me a second and I'll be back. Has Tunde Tupac
What up?
got
How are you?
anxiety?
I'm great.
Can we meet you?
My name is Tunde Tupac, aka the Rap Killer,
Tunde
the
Tupac.
Rap Flexer, kill them all.
Your name.
Your name is
Tunde
Tunde.
Tupac.
Tunde Tupac.
You can write the Rap Killer there.
But Tunde is your
It's
name.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Tunde.
Fucking Tunde Tupac's got fucking anxiety, bro. Everybody's got anxiety these days. We all got motherfucking anxiety. That's what they're teaching you. You gotta have anxiety nowadays, bro. What's happening, Max?
What we doing? What we doing?
Man, I told you this topic that I'm doing right now, even I think, I don't want to say now, not at the moment, but I think even the guest might have got a little bit afraid of it because mental illness is such a sensitive topic, Max.
Yeah.
And when you speak amongst it with men, men don't have no remorse for it.
Yeah.
And in the chat, they're saying our mental illness is for pussies. Some mental illness is weakness. But some people saying, yo, depression and mental illness is for real, you know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? About these
Well,
boxers saying anxiety? A lot of men are saying they got more anxiety than what women used to have, bro.
well, I think, there's a correlation of a couple of different things. I got a friend who works in mental health. Um, I think people don't realize there's layers to it, right? Sometimes it involves like an imbalance of chemicals in the brain. Sometimes it involves low vitamin levels in the body.
Yeah.
There's different things. Like mental health is real. If it wasn't real,
And mental
then
health is
then
real.
we
We're
wouldn't
not
have we
denying that.
wouldn't have we wouldn't have programs. We wouldn't have hospitals for people that are struggling. We wouldn't have therapists or psychiatrists. Like it's a real thing. Now, are there people out there that are probably using it as a way to get by, like as an excuse? Yeah, but I'll tell you, if we're talking about boxers, I could tell you Danny Garcia definitely was struggling with his depression. You saw it in his last fight when he won. He got very emotional because he had to dig himself out of that hole. He had to get the right support, the right people around him, and he was able to overcome that. And he's doing a lot better. Um, for anyone that's struggling with their mental health, I mean, my encouragement would be like to let them know that there's more hope. That you can get through it, you can overcome. You just got to get the right support around you. That's what I'll say to that.
So look, mental health is a real serious thing. But what do you think about these the men who get a lot of anxiety? Would you put anxiety to mental health? Would you say nowadays when they say got anxiety, is giving me mental health. Do you think that's the right word to use between those two?
I mean, if they're saying they're having anxiety, that
See,
means they're having.
years ago, it wasn't like that. You got anxiety, just get the fuck up, keep moving, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
Are
Like,
we living in a softer society in what men are listening to today? Is this what we should be teaching the kids? Man, you got anxiety. That means now you're going to be in mental health.
I mean, if you're stressed out, I mean, it's gonna. You know what I mean? You got to control
You're
that
going to get to
stress.
that stage, right?
You got to control that stress and keep it intact. Um, but yeah, man. I'm just and
So are
rap.
you?
It's
Let me
easy.
just tell you what
Rap.
kind of man. Let me just learn from you who you are. You're very sympathetic towards the Adrian Broner being anxiety. You're very sympathetic towards Ryan Garcia. Very sympathetic towards this situation of these men having anxiety. Yeah,
If
you're
they
kind of like, yeah,
if
go
they
on.
if they truly are struggling, then yes. If they're just
But
using it as a way to cop out, then no.
so
You
this is
know.
my problem though, Max. Are we now as men know that if somebody says that I've got anxiety, you gotta just shut up now, and you gotta basically attach it to mental illness.
But
Is that
here's the
what
thing.
we're getting taught? Is that what we're getting taught?
Well, look, man, this is what you got to understand. It's easy for people to say, "Oh, back in the day, you know, we didn't talk about that." Yeah, you know why though, right? A lot of men were self-medicating. A lot of guys were drinking themselves to death. They were trying to cope with their stress or with their depression by drinking or gambling or spending money. So it's you know what I mean. It's easy to say about back in the day because a lot of men were self-medicating in different ways. You know what I mean? Because you couldn't talk about it. Because if you talked about it, you were looked at as less upon. You know what I mean? But nowadays, I guess people are a little bit more vocal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but let's go to Frank. What's happening, Frank?
Oh, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah. What up, Frank?
What's up, Max?
Very sensitive topic in 2022, Frank. Watch what you
Yeah.
say. Watch what you say.
What? Why you checking me, dude?
I'm just saying, in case you say something that you're very vocal sometimes. This is mental health. How do you feel about men using these words of anxiety a lot more than you heard
Well,
before?
first, I just want to commend Max, man. He's one of your most level-headed guests that you have on, man. This dude should have the floor more.
Respect,
He,
respect.
he came on and said some very thoughtful things. I agree with Max. I think it's like you can't dismiss somebody when they say they have mental health issues.
Of course you can't. But that's what I'm saying. That tomorrow they're gonna if somebody said this person's got that, is that something that men are gonna say, okay, now be quiet. He's got anxiety, bro. You gotta watch out.
Well, no, I've I haven't really said this much, but I've coached and taught teenagers and children. Worked with teenagers for many years. The youth, and so one of the first things I asked them is, why do you want to box? I mean, it's a tough sport. It's the toughest sport. And a lot of them, they want to lose weight. But for the majority, is a lot of kids need self confidence. They get into boxing because they have self-confidence issues. Even when we spoke with Nino, what did he say that was drove him was the self-confidence issues. Remember what he said? He said that he was picked on, and that's what drove him to become a champion. What did Mike Tyson say? Is he was in trouble as a youth. He had talked with the list.
But that's a whole different topic. That's like saying that, we know that boxing can help depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different topic. What we're saying here is, what about boxers or people, just in general, when it's men? In today's society, anxiety has become now a very, very major play within men. Anxiety was a major play with the women before. When a man tells you, Frank,
Yeah.
I got anxiety, what's your first thoughts?
Well, it's that everybody has a dark side. We have a good side and we have a dark side, right? Where does this theme of the devil and God come from, right? Is the idea that we have we're dualistic beings. We have a good side and we have an evil nature, right? And it's always in conflict. So to ignore the dark side of our nature is to ignore what we really are, right?
So let me ask you where these things maybe start from, because I want to quickly just get to where it is. It over analyzing things, overthinking things, over giving yourself so much pressure on your brain that at
But
some point it reacts on you and you start to become someone who starts to have anxiety because you've done over too much on your pressure on your mind?
Yeah, well, the world puts a lot of pressure on us, right? Like we have to be rich, we have to be successful, we cannot appear weak, you know, and that's what Max was alluding to is that um, back in the day, you know, men held these things in for fear of being looked at as weak. And now that people are speaking up, well, then that's what we're calling them, right? Is weak. When maybe we're not weak, we're just now starting to realize that we need help.
But maybe are we saying that men don't know how to talk to other men when it comes to help? Like men are not very good. Like you can see most of the chat. Some of these people are like, you know what I mean? They don't have no remorse for a boxer having anxiety or mental problems.
Yeah,
Boxing
well,
doesn't give you any remorse.
well, like I said, I mean, I worked in boxing gyms, and most of the youth that came in were street kids, right? They were trying to get away from the streets, and that's why kids join street gangs is because they don't have that confidence, um, that ability to stand on their own. So this is what we're talking about, right? Like, if I had a problem, I say, "Hey, Rap, I'm having a problem." Are you gonna be a friend, or are you gonna say, "Hey, man, you're being weak, suck it up"?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is years ago, I think when men used to say something like you got mental issues, men used to get outclassed like that, bro. A man would be looked upon as a weak person and people would say, oh, he's a bit doolally. They would write him off. He would be written off. Do you know that, Frank?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen it. I've dealt with it. I've seen it every day. I've seen kids lose their lives. I've seen people lose their lives throughout the boxing circle.
I hear you. I hear you. But I just think, do you think they should help these boxers or have some kind of a foundation or build a kind of a, like from the sanctioning bodies, they should have a funding? Do you
Yeah,
think they should have
pension.
a funding or where doctors analyze these fighters, their mental, psychological health every 6 months or something? Should they do something?
Yeah, they should have something like a pension or have psychiatric evaluations. But see, it's a double-edged sword. So here's what I mean. Like Ryan Garcia had mentioned that he had mental health issues. But you have to understand, though, that's a double-edged sword because let's say he gets knocked out or he's having some issues, they might not license him again. But they're going to say, hey, kid, you've had some issues in the past. We're not going to grant you this license so easily. So a lot of times fighters or won't say anything because they understand that like if I say these things, then people are going to question me and it's going to be harder for me to progress. So that's why, right? If you're at work, you can't take a week off because you're having mental health issues because then your job is like, hey,
But I
let's say
don't
you're a
think it
police.
works like that because when Tyson Fury said he wants to kill himself, they just, when he got better, they just wanted him to fight. When Tio said he wanted to do something to himself, they didn't care about him. Ryan Garcia reached out; they didn't care about him like that.
And
I don't think they boxing cares about you if you said that you want to kill yourself or you're mentally sick. But as long as you come back, they'll let you fight.
yeah, no, for a large majority, but as this becomes more of an issue and then things start to happen, then it'll be start to looked at more with more scrutiny, right? The more kids come out, the more people speak up about it. It's going to be looked at with scrutinized more
Hey,
with
look,
more.
I read a story about this guy,
Right?
Edwin Valero. Does anybody know who this boxer is?
Yeah, he was the guy. He killed his family, right, and then committed suicide.
They said that he already was psychotic. He had mental issues and he was psychotic. But they still let him into boxing through his promoter. They were able to still give him many fights, even if he was having psychotic issues. These are all documented. When the doctor saw the man, it's all documented that they classed Edwin Valero a psychotic man, but they still let him into boxing. Boxing would allow crazy people, Frank, to
Yeah.
fight. And that's why, Frank, I think it's coming to a point that boxing doesn't have a foundation for psychological and mental health assessment on boxers because they know they're going to lose most of their boxers.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a double-edged sword. I mean, the more attention you bring, the more people are going to look at it. I mean, you have to understand, like, you know, there's not a lot of commissions. I mean, how many commissions are there in the U.S.? I think a lot of there's in the U.S. like Nevada. There's a lot of commissions that are kind of cookie cutter ones, right? They're not as strict as, like, say, Nevada. You know what I'm saying? Like the UFC. Did you see that documentary, The Dark Side of the Ring? Have you seen that in
I
the
ain't
UK?
seen it yet. I need to go watch it.
Okay. Well, it examines like a lot of the issues we're talking about because like wrestling has dealt with that because of all the the steroid use and a lot of their fighters, their wrestlers dying so young and early and having these psychotic meltdowns. So, you know, they're getting a lot of heat, lawsuits and what have you. But the UFC, it took forever them to get regulated because, you know, they have these commissions. Like they never got uh, a license in New York. New York refused to license them. And so boxing has the same issues because it's a brutal sport. You understand what I'm saying? So it is scrutinized. People there's a lot of people that think boxing is barbaric. They refuse to watch it.
Well, there you go. Max is not one of those guys.
I mean, I think it's the greatest sport on earth. I think it's the first sport, right? It's the first sport in human history. Man versus man.
Why do you love boxing so much more than any other sport?
Because it's solo. It's mano a mano, right? There's no team. There's no coach. Well, I mean, you have your,
But so is tennis.
but it's not physical. You're
Exactly.
not trying to impose your will, your physicality on another man. No, a pause. Right? Like the Greeks, they invented wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Like that might have been the first sport. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want to assume that some kind of combat sport was the first sport in human history, right? And the Greeks invented wrestling, but wrestling, you're not really trying to inflict pain, right? It's just to make your man submit. It doesn't have the violence, brutality of boxing. You know, and it's and that's what makes it the mental. You know, in boxing we call it mental chess, right? Now you're trying to outthink your opponent. You know, in every other sport, soccer, football, baseball, you got teammates, right? And this is why it's such an issue in boxing is because, you know, you alone are responsible for your training. You're responsible for your team. So take Tiafimo, right? What are some of the issues? Well, he's supporting everybody. That's what I've seen. You know, people are posting that he's the one that's taking care of his family. Like even when the Donaires were on, that's what he was saying, right? It was a lot of pressure because he was not only as he has to train and mentally prepare, but also a win means okay, I get to take care of my family. A loss, and now what do I do? Like your family is at stake.
Yeah.
I mean, those are some serious consequences.
What do you think about this comment? Can you read it out, please, Frank? And then I want Max to rebuttal.
It's all about wanting attention and validation. People who were not shown much love and attention growing up seeking attention and validation more than people who were shown it. It's a lot to unpack. So I don't know who's gonna handle that one. Max?
I mean, like I said, it's like, hey, Jay Santiago is entitled to his opinion. It's easy to make a comment like that if to generalize it like that. I don't agree with it. I think everyone's story in life is a little bit different. We can't one model doesn't fit everyone the same. So there's certain people that have gone through greater tragedies than others. There's certain people that have been able to overcome. There's people that haven't been able to overcome. Um, so I think it goes back to understanding, getting the right support. If these boxers are struggling, that they need to step away from the sport of boxing to get themselves right. You know what I mean? And then come back better. Um, Perfect example. Danny Garcia took some time away from boxing. I don't know if people noticed that, but he was away a little bit. That's why going back to the ring and having that W against Benavidez, his older brother, I think. Yeah, it was big for him because if he proved to himself that he could overcome getting out of that dark space, because he was in a. If you listen to his interviews and stuff like that, he'll share with you, man. It got dark. So when he teared up in the ring and told people that it got really dark, yeah, I mean, it took a lot out of him to come back, but he was able to get through it. So again, my position here, I'm not here to
So then
convince
I'm going to
anyone.
ask your position on this. You've seen a lot of people say this. You've seen Teofimo Lopez say some stuff. Do you believe now that, I know you don't want to say maybe this is the subject though. Do you believe Teofimo Lopez needs to get some help, like from a sports psychologist, or get some kind of counseling, or do you think it's just a phase?
I think Teofimo Lopez is
Because
having
even
light.
Rachel Donner said yesterday, Max,
I
that she believed that he needs some mental help, like he's mentally going through things.
I think yeah, I think what he's struggling with is life issues, and he's not able to manage them correctly. There's a lot of pressure on this young kid, man. If he gets another L, how will he feed his family moving forward? Will he, lose the endorsement deals? And like again, it's different opinions and different circumstances for everyone, but I think he's just not able to properly manage what's going on in his life, and he may need to go speak to even a life coach or a sports psychologist, someone that can kind of help him navigate through these tough times, like when he was struggling with his wife and not being able to be around the kid, and how that impacted him. We already knew that was a bumpy road for him because his mom and his sister didn't like the wife. You know what I mean? So then there's that. Then there's the loss to Cambosis. Then there's, how now he moves to another division. Can he carry the weight? Can he still knock people out? He just has a not impressive fight this weekend. So now then there's that. Now what happens to him next? Like with his confidence level. So it's a combination of many things, man. I don't think he has like I haven't seen now. There have been some people in the chat that have said that they have seen him say, like, I think even Timothy Bradley was saying that he couldn't recognize Tio in an interview, that he sounded so different. I haven't seen any absurd behavior yet. So I wouldn't categorize like as a mental health issue. I think it's just life issues that is causing a lot of stress, and he needs to learn how to manage through them.
I hear you. So basically, you see when boxing's 90% mental, where do you think Teofimo Lopez's weakness is like? Does it physical or mental for you?
I think it's more mental. I think he's extremely hard on himself.
Mhm.
Um, I think he tries to project some of his inner stress by, being very flamboyant and being like very outspoken about how good he is, how, he's the
Yeah.
best and all that. I think, he's building himself up to that. But yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
So are you saying, has anything changed with you in how you support, follow Tio? Do you have any doubts? Are you more uplifted in his future? Do you think he becomes exactly what you thought he would be? Did you have the high standards for him and you think he's still that guy, or
I
do you
mean,
have
I'm
any
still,
doubts?
I'm
Do you have
still,
any doubts now?
I mean, my only doubt comes from him not paying attention to his dad in the ring. That's my biggest
So you're
concern. And
thinking his focus in the ring. There's a lack of focus for you when it comes to Teofimo Lopez when he's in the actual fucking ring.
correct.
So then there's a problem. So Teofimo Lopez has got more problems than you actually thought he did.
Yeah.
So at this point, one of your favorite fighters, Max, because I know you've been pushing Tio since I've known you. One of your favorite fighters, are you kind of like a little bit subjected? You need to see more from him now. You need to see more growth.
Yeah.
So it's kind of second guessed most of his own fans.
I mean, I think Tio can still be great at 147, but again, we were on this show a couple of days ago, and I said the same thing, that I'm concerned about him and how's he gonna do in the 140 division. You know, I mean, there needs to be some changes, and that's gonna have to come within his camp.
Well, then you think there's a problem between him and his dad's camp then?
Yeah. Like the
Okay.
people around him, he needs people that can get through to him, because like Rachel was saying last night, it just appears that he's not as focused. You know, yeah.
Wow. What do you think,
Oh,
Frank?
drop the link. John wants to hop on about the topic.
Okay, Frank, what do you think about it? Do you agree with Max?
That what?
Like,
He was
you
a lot.
didn't hear it? That
Yeah, I heard
the
it, but
camp
there
is-
was a lot of elements.
All right, then you start from where you wanted, because there was quite a few elements.
Well, I think there should be a gap between your career and your family life, right? And that's what Tio doesn't have. It's like everybody needs to take a break from their job, but when your job is tied in with your family, it's a lot harder. So maybe he needs a stopgap. That doesn't mean get rid of your dad, but maybe you need to be able to get away from boxing in a sport, right? Like you don't, one of the worst things you can do if you have a tough career, like maybe a surgeon, a police officer, is take your work home with you, right? These people who have these high stressful jobs, you need to find a way to get away from it all. And if Tio and his dad are constantly talking about boxing, they're just constantly putting pressure, and eventually something's gonna break. And that looks like what could be happening. So he needs to find a way to step outside of the sport, right? I think you said it last night. You said, sometimes we need to be able to step out. When you said we need to be able to use logic and make business decisions, right? When we make certain decisions, we need to kind of step out of our emotions.
No emotions.
Right. So that's when you hear people say we need to be able to step outside of ourselves, which is another way of saying that, I got all these emotions. I need to clear my mind, and you need to be able to step outside of that. But it's impossible if when he goes home, it's his dad and his family, and they're all involved in his boxing career. There's no, and his friends, they're all associated with boxing. He goes to the gym, it's about his career. He goes to hang out with his boys, it's about boxing. It's like he needs to find a hobby, man. Like he needs a break.
Yeah,
but that's kind of the price of fame and fortune, right? That's the Kanye effect. We wish for these things, fame and fortune, but there's a price to pay. People fail to realize that living in the public eye is also a curse. It's like the gift and the curse, right? Then Big Puffy said, "More money, more problems."
Seems that way. Some people can't take it though. Some people can't take the pressure of staying at the top. Do you understand that, Max?
Yeah.
And I just hope that's not Teofimo Lopez. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm saying though. If his entire life is boxing, which is fantastic, right? Like Jordan, you need to be obsessed in order to achieve that level of success. You probably are these people that we idolize, right? Like Elon Musk, Kanye West. They've been obsessed with their career, right? Like that's how you become successful. But at a certain point, that obsession will become your worst enemy. Like take Tyson and De La Hoya, right? Their best asset became their worst asset. They couldn't get away. They couldn't escape the thrill of boxing. The high, the rush you get from fights, right? So when they leave the sport, it's like they're empty. I mean, haven't you seen people that have high stressful careers, like they can't really step away from it because they're used to that adrenaline? Okay.
Yeah. My fault.
No, I mean, it's okay.
Rap's probably making breakfast or something.
No, it's cool, man. But I'm just ranting. But I'll just keep going unless you have something to say.
Who's Raps? I'm surprised. Rap said he had a guest on tonight. I don't know what happened with that.
You're the guest, man. It's a surprise.
Exclusive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, people just it's life in the spotlight, right? I mean, isn't that what you want?
Yeah.
But that's what I think. Now that we're talking about it, I would have to say that's the problem. There's nowhere that Tio can get away from being Tio, right? I like Max. Don't you need a break from Max sometimes?
Yeah.
Right? You hang out with friends and like you don't want to talk about your life, your career. You say, hey, bro, I just want to get away from this bitch. Can you hang out with me? Right?
Yeah.
Or my mom's driving me
We got
crazy,
John
bro.
in the building. We got others in the building. Just to let you guys know.
All right, bring him in.
Go on, John. How you feeling, John?
Hey, Rapstar, how we doing, my brother?
Yeah, a bit of a sensitive topic for, it's got to be for real men here. How do you feel about this topic of these guys today, or the mental illness and all that stuff?
Well, listen, man. I was here at the beginning of your show, then I had to split and talk to my wife for a bit. So I haven't heard what you guys been talking about. But I can just tell you from personal experience that you'll find, in my personal experience, I was in a nut ward for a week back in July. And what you'll find with these people that have mental illness, invariably, okay, you'll find these three things. And sorry, man, I'm just getting over a fucking shitty bout of the flu. But you'll find these three things in every case of mental illness. That's why I'm calling bullshit on what Fury's saying. You'll find that these people have, and I don't care what kind of mental illness it is. Well, let's just talk about depression. You're going to find that they have bad sleeping habits, they have bad eating habits, and they're not staying hydrated. And it sounds like a simple fucking thing, man. But I spent fucking 30 years of not eating right, staying up all fucking night, and not staying hydrated, and it finally caught up with me. And these people that's what leads to a sort of some kind of fucked up thing. Now, some people maybe aren't as tough as me, and it'd be 6 months or a year. I mean, you can do that shit for a while, especially when you're young. But when you get older, you just can't do that. The first thing they did, man, was put me on a 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. sleep cycle, and 3 meals a day, and half my body weight in fucking water, or in ounces. So, and it took me weeks to get my shit straight, man, before I could even start working out and shit. But that's why when Fury says this, I don't buy it. I don't believe that he had bad sleep habits. I don't believe he was not eating right. I think he was packing his nose full of fucking nose candy, and he's going to say he was mentally ill. And I don't like it because it's bullshit.
So is that how you think about Adrian Broner, Ryan Garcia? Tio said he was going to kill himself. What do you think about all that?
I don't. I would have to, that's the first thing you would ask him. I would say, Tio, are you going to bed at night? And I don't mean at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. And I just can't believe that a guy that works out like maybe he does. Maybe he was staying up late. And you guys might fucking snicker at this shit and think that I'm full of it. But no, man. Once that, I don't know if it's brain chemistry or whatever it is, once that gets out of whack for long enough, you're going to have major depression. You're going to fucking have anger issues. You're never going to feel right. And you're going to always wonder why. And my wife's had me on a fucking 5 months of high protein. Anyway, that shit don't matter. But look, I don't know about Teal. It's hard for me to believe, Rap Star, that these top tier athletes have depression, because just to be in the physical shape that they are, they have to eat right, they have to sleep right, and they have to stay hydrated. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the physical shape that they're in. So I have a hard time accepting that they have mental issues, because those three things are always present.
So
Bad
let me
sleep,
ask you
bad
this
eating.
then. Let me ask you this: is that a way of, when they say on social media, you think they're reaching out for some sympathy or reaching out for some attention? Do you think it's something that's missing, or like the way you're making it sound is when they say these things, then there's got to be something missing. Are they trying to get attention? What is it?
I think they're using it as an excuse. And they're saying, hey, I got mental illness. Well, you can't bullshit me, because you got mental illness, but how the fuck are you in top peak physical condition at the same time? Because you're not going to have mental illness with good sleep habits, good eating habits, and you're staying hydrated. You won't have mental illness. That's how they cure it.
Would you?
So
That's totally opposite, well, virtually to what Max is saying. You heard what he said, Max. It's a sleeping habit. There's people are capping basically because they're not doing their lifestyle correct. So if you say it's anxiety or mental illness, it's like,
well, I don't know about anxiety. Okay, that's not what I got diagnosed with. But look, you have that's just a fact, because that's the first, when you get locked up in the nut ward. Excuse me. That's the first thing they do. So they put you on a sleep schedule, eat schedule, and they make you force this fucking water down you all day long, because you can't get right if you're not doing those three basic things that you're supposed to learn as a kid, right? Your mother told you to go to bed at night. Your mother told you to eat 3 meals a day, and she told you to drink your fucking water. And people get away from it, and it will lead to mental illness every single time. And there is not one person that's been diagnosed with depression that has those three things in check. Not one. That's
so
the
what you're
key.
saying is it's a lifestyle which creates you into a path in a pattern that is your
Yeah, yeah,
lifestyle that will take you there.
yeah, yeah. It starts out as maybe you're young and you're just staying up late, and you just you're eating junk food, or you eat when you're hungry, that kind of thing. And maybe you drink water. You say, "Fuck water. I don't like water. I'm going to drink orange juice or beer or something." And like I said, it's not a week or a month or even a year or 5 years. It takes a long time. Really, it takes a long time for that shit to creep in. And it's sinister, fucking insidious. You don't even know what's happening. Okay. And but I'll assure you and remind you again, it's always those three things. So when somebody makes that claim, it's the first thing you ask them. And I don't believe that any of these guys, I don't know how you stayed in top physical shape without getting 8 hours sleep, do you? And staying hydrated. And obviously they have a proper diet, or they wouldn't be ripped like they are. So I just call them bullshit on it for those reasons.
Wow. Anyway, Max, you
No.
there?
Hey, before I got in the nut ward, though, I would agree with everybody else that said, mental illness is some sissy shit. Why don't you man up, quit being a cunt, and that kind of thing? Because
The
I didn't
mental, no, but
understand.
you know what, John? Mental illness is real, bro. It's real shit out there. That's what's taking some people into a different, in a what's it called? In like a black cauldron. Like, mental illness is for people which, when they get so negative, or they find them, they put themselves in a situation where the pressure gets so much, it can make people really crazy, bro. That's the truth. That's a fact.
Yeah, and you'll start. What happens if you just slowly over time, rap star? You just slowly not giving a fuck, and the things that you used to love to do, you're no longer doing them. And in fact, you ain't doing shit. And if you got friends, family, loved ones, you always want to keep an eye out for that. If they love to sing or something, and now they say, "Oh, I don't care about that," and shit like that, those are warning signs. And always ask them, "Hey, are you sleeping right? Are you eating 3 meals a day? Are you staying hydrated? And if they say no, 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 they need help, because that's where they're headed, right down that fucking path, man. And it sucks. They'll try to put you on these heavy duty drugs. I say, fuck that. I'm not doing that. So
I think
I
the
just,
drugs make people even more dependent, and then when you're not on the drugs, it fucks your life up again. I don't know what's going on.
that's right. I took, you're absolutely 100% on target, my friend. And I took this shit. I only took it 2 days when I was up there, and I took it 4 more days when I was out. And on the 5th day, this shit had me wobbly. I was forgetful. It was awful. Fuck this, man. Fuck this shit. So I still got that whole bottle of pills, but I'm not taking them. And I haven't taken them since. I just make sure I got my fucking meal straight. I go to bed at night. You guys will hardly ever see me up late on here, very rarely. And I drink tons and tons and tons of water. I don't drink anything else but water.
What do you think about? What do you think about people if they've said they want to kill themselves? Are those the people that you gotta watch, or the people that have said that they want to do something self-harm for themselves, like what boxers have said about themselves?
Yeah, you got to get them committed. If anybody that's saying that they call that suicidal ideation. And if you have suicidal ideation, or you're any ideas about self-harm, got to if they won't go voluntarily, I don't know how it is in England, but you can commit someone involuntarily here for up to 72 hours. And that's what a person like that needs, because that's bad news there. They're already deep in the throes of depression when they're talking like that. I never said any shit like that.
Why do you think people get to such a stage that they want to fucking kill themselves? That's fucking mad, isn't it, bro?
Yeah, and Rapstar, like I said, I'll beat a dead horse on this. You won't find one of them people that go to bed at night and eat right and drink water. Not fucking one, man. They're all fucked up, and it all starts right there. And I live right up the street. Well, I do now because I moved.
Shall I tell you what? I want to ask this. I want to get to some kind of a mindset here. Do you think this happens to people which second guess a lot about what's going on in their brain and second guessing what's going on in their life?
We got a lot of self-doubt. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah, that goes right along with it, bro. And like I said, the shit doesn't happen overnight. It's not like getting the fucking flu or something. It's fucking years, usually.
Yeah.
And it may be some fucking event that finally puts you over the fucking edge, which is what happened to me when my fucking mother died. Fucked me all up. So
why don't you help the people and tell me what should people look for if they're going to end up with some kind of mental illness?
Well, those are the 3 things.
Right.
That if somebody's behaving, and then see, Rapstar, you start doing that, and then if you mix in alcohol,
right,
which is a depressant, now you're really playing with fucking fire, because you're not eating right. Alcohol will it's a diuretic, soak the water right out of you, and it just goes from bad to worse. That's why a lot of them are drunks.
Well, I'll tell you something. There's a lot of people. There's these people in England that they stand on the street, they end up fucking nowhere. The crack addicts, and I'll say substance abuse makes you mentally ill as well. I've seen crack addicts which act like mentally ill motherfucking crazy people. When they take substance abuse, even some alcoholics, some of the alcoholics end up being mentally fucking ill, bro. So I say substance abuse is also something that you got to look out for, bro.
Well, you're absolutely right. Again, Rapstar, they feed off each other. So you might be an alcoholic first, leads to mental illness. You might be mentally ill first, led you to being a fucking drunk. But they go hand in hand, man. They're They're twins. Because, like I said, I knew a guy that, and this is the truth, the guy was 6 weeks older than me. He died. It was another thing that fucked me up. He died back in 2020. And a coroner said he drank himself to death because the fucking guy would never eat. He'd wake up and start drinking. But he was already depressed and he was already an alcoholic.
Right.
And it went from bad to worse. And he just quit eating. Well, you got to sleep, you got to eat, you got to drink water. He's not doing any of those. And he's sucking down tequila at half pint at a time. And he fucking found him dead one morning on the couch. And that's an example of what you're talking about. He had one or the other first. He's probably an alcoholic first.
Right.
And when you drink like that, what happens? Well, you don't sleep right, you don't eat right, and you're not staying hydrated, right? And so it just flows that way, man, every time.
I hear you. But John,
So
I
that was
want you to
another
share
thing.
to the people, even if we can help one person. In life, what, you say, okay, it's dehydrating, not sleeping right, and whatever. But also, that's a lifestyle. What else are the symptoms? What happens to a person? That the beginning symptoms of that, knowing that you got mental illness or some kind of a problem there.
Well, that's tougher to answer. I
Yeah,
don't.
you've been through it, so I may be seeing what happens.
Well, look, man, I thought there was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
Some of the people close to me thought there was nothing wrong with me. I appeared fucking like I always do to them. But the problem is, maybe you're seeing him for 20 minutes or a half hour here and half hour here, and you can put on a happy face for that time and make it through that shit. But as far as symptoms, I never thought I was fucking. I mean, I kind of did. I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm a fucking nut job. But excuse me, not to the point of what I actually was. And so what I did, just to finish, I got off that dope that they put me on.
Right.
And I set up my own schedule. Go to bed at 10, get up at 7, breakfast by 9, lunch by 1, dinner by 6. And you drink water all the way in between and after 6. And that's it. And you just have to do that consistently every freaking day, man. Every day.
The way you making it sound is a healthy body is a healthy state of mind.
That's right. And it seems incredibly simple, I know. It seems like, oh, this fucking guy's crazy. But that's what they teach you up there. They say, look, you got to get those 3 things straight or nothing else is ever going to work for you. It just isn't. And so I spent about 5 months doing that. And my wife's been a fucking angel. And she's a nutritionist. And it's got me all back on fucking track and shit. And I feel great. I feel better than I ever have. I don't have any anger issues and shit. You guys hear me yelling at punching shit, but I'm just fucking around there. That ain't nothing serious there. But I'm back to my old self. And when I say my old self, I'm probably fucking 30 years ago. So a long time ago, man. I've fucked up. And you don't, like I said, you don't notice it. People might say, oh, he's a prick or he's an asshole and shit like that. And you just sort of chuckle, say what the fuck ever. But no, man, I was fucked up. I was fucked up.
But the main thing is that you've come out of it. And the main thing is that you understand it. To talk about it, that means you really have, grown from that.
Yeah, but look, that's right again. But had I not gone up there to the nut ward, I never would have understood all this. And I was up there for Tuesday, Wednesday, just 3 nights. That's all I was up there. And
what did they do in the nut ward? Tell us what was your everyday schedule in the nut ward.
Well, that's the first thing they do. And so they got a lights out at like 10:30. And then they're going to serve breakfast by 9. And so you can do whatever you want. Then their meals were right on time every fucking day. It'd be like 9 o'clock. You'd have breakfast. And between noon and 1, you'd have lunch. And then 5 and 6, just like what I'm doing now, you'd have dinner. And then you might have a late night snack or something at 8 o'clock. And then back in bed by 10:30. And that's all they're doing up there. And some of the people, boy, they'll put you on that dope if they can. And I took it and I quite liked it, to be honest with you. But at first, but that's all you do. And then now look, the doctor will come around and he'll see how you're doing, and he'll talk to you and shit. And then you'll have one of his assistants will talk to you later, one-on-one, shit like that. You might have a group thing, and it's very casual, very informal. There's no kind of pressure or anything on anybody to fucking say anything. You can just sit there. It's very, it's non-confrontational, non-judgmental, and you just figure out they're just trying to tell you, look, man, you got to get these 3 things right first, or you're fucked. You ain't never gonna have a happy life if you can't do the 3 things your mama taught you. Go to fucking bed at night, eat right, and stay hydrated. And that's
but that's a bit like in prison. They lock you up. They say make sure you come out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and take your fucking stuff from the canteen, get your drinks, and fucking stay there and hydrate. So you might be able to. I mean, at this point, it's just like living life again, isn't it, bro? I mean, let me just say this. Let me say this. What we're saying is, when you lose your capability, you need to learn how to live again, is what they show you. They teach you how you're supposed to live on a day-to-day basis when you eat, you drink, you hydrate, and they basically just show you what's the best way for you to just basically, you're saying eating and drinking and hydrating.
Yeah, brother, that's why they do that in the joint, is to try to keep these fucking guys on an even keel mentally so they don't fucking go nuts while they're in there. So they make sure you get 3 meals a day. They got lights out, even though any of you fellas out there that's ever been in a joint, it's sleeping there today and they're up all night. But so there's that.
Well, let's talk to one of my mates. I ain't seen him for a long time. It's Shadow Ghost. What's going on, Shadow Ghost? Shadow, how's it going, bro? I can't hear you, Shadow. I see you in the back. One sec.
Okay,
Shadow,
Peter, maybe happy wasn't the right word.
Shadow, can you hear me, mate? He can't hear me.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. How's it going?
Yeah, that's my bad. Hold on. Let me take off my that mic. Hold on. That's why it's doing that. Hold on. All right, is everything good?
Yeah, we're good, man. How's it going, man? It's been a long fucking time. Where you been?
Oh man, just been working and taking care of things, man. I haven't had much time to actually be online and shit. So, but it was kind of funny because I was just about to do I was about to do something and I saw that you was on and I saw like the mental illness thing that you was talking about, and I always feel like it's a good thing to talk about. I heard what my man was saying here. I don't know his name.
John McSmith.
John,
I mean, he was.
Yeah, I heard what he said about
you heard
being.
what he said.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I heard. I would like halfway disagree with that. I do agree that being healthy, absolutely helps. Drinking water, exercising, absolutely, and in fact, because when you do get depressed and you stop doing these things and you have bad habits of eating and bad habits of sleeping, but I'm not sure if this is what he was saying, but being like going and working out is not, if you're depressed from stress or if you're depressed from things that are happening in your life or PTSD, exercising can help. But if you don't address the issue of what's going on with you, it's just I agree to the fact that yes, being healthy, absolutely, bro, eating right, exercising, you always feel good because it releases natural endorphins. But to say that cures you,
I didn't mention exercising one time, bro.
Okay, well, eating right or whatever it is, because you can actually, there was actually an article written. I think the person is a doctor and an athlete. Name is Beth McCall. I think it was written back in 2018, because I've had this conversation at the VA plenty of times with other veterans, and and some people think like, oh yeah, I just got to eat right and get back on track, and that might be the case for some people, but that's not really the case for everyone, because it's there's other things involved. There's chemical imbalances when it comes to having PTSD, having anxiety, having major depression, having bipolar.
Well,
I'm telling you from a I know you might be saying it from a personal experience, and your wife is is a nutritionist, and I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong. I'm just here to tell you my experience from being in the military, being around plenty of people that are in shape, plenty of people that drink water,
now
plenty
look
of
though,
people
man. I
that are
know where you're going with this. I
and
know where you're going with this.
well, hold on, just let me finish, please.
All right.
And so I do agree that being healthy and eating right is an absolute. I think that's one thing that you should try to do. I'm not here to argue that. I just do not think that just because I'm eating salad and staying away from Snicker bars and running a mile every day is going to, now I'm not going to have major depression no more. I'm not going to have bipolar anymore. I'm not going to have PTSD anymore. Because if it was that simple, they wouldn't even. I would have probably been cured a long time ago.
Yeah, listen, well, I didn't
But
mean to
can I
minimize
just
it.
intervene before you? Is it true? What works for somebody else might not work for somebody
And
else.
that's what I mean. That's
Well,
that's
no,
But
that's
it
what I
did
mean. It
work for
doesn't go
John.
for
But
all
it
people.
did
Like
work for John.
for some people,
Yeah, but
working out and eating
yeah,
right that's all they might need, because they might just be unhealthy, like he said. But
no.
I'm saying that everyone is different. Like some people can't take meds at all because the meds make them worse. Some people, they actually take meds and they feel better. Some people take meds and they feel like a zombie. Some people take meds and they get overweight, and it's just a negative impact on them. But for some people, it does work.
Yeah, now listen, this PTSD, that's a different thing now. That you can't lump that in with other mental illnesses. That's a specific thing
Why do you think that though? Why do you think?
because it's a fact. And
No, it's not. No, it's not a fact, and that's why I'm asking you. Why do you think? Why do you think that is? You think that only veterans get PTSD because we've seen war?
well,
Is that
no,
what you
cops
think?
get it. Cops get it. Ambulance drivers get it.
Women
Lots
get
of
it.
people.
People that's been bullied as a kid got it. People that's been picked
I,
on get it.
I don't buy that. You're not.
But you
Hey,
don't have to
listen.
buy it. You don't have to buy it, but it's the truth. People have
No, it isn't.
PTSD.
No, it isn't because
People have PTSD because they were getting their
Hey,
ass
listen,
whooped by
Fred.
their father growing up, bro. What are you talking
Listen,
about? What are you
listen, bro.
talking about?
This is what I'm
It's
talking about.
trauma. PTSD is trauma, bro. Trauma doesn't have to do with just seeing somebody get shot or physical thing. PTSD is trauma. Trauma can be caused by
Let me ask you this.
by words, like bullying somebody, sexual harassment.
You know what PTSD used to be called before they named it PTSD?
Shell shock.
That's right. Battle fatigue.
Yeah,
Shell
I know
shock.
exactly, and that's you
That's
know what,
because
when they
it's
called it
specific to the military.
shell shock back then in Vietnam, they didn't know much about it, bro. That's why they called it shell shock, because they thought only
Yeah,
people
you
in the
can't tell me
military
that
get
some
it.
little kid
That's
that
not
got
true,
bullied in schools and fucking got PTSD. That's ridiculous.
bro. I'm telling you, bro, that since I've been out the military in 2012, I've been involved in the VA with people that have not even went to war. They were in the military for only 6 months. They were only in the military for a year. Some of them didn't even get deployed. I've gone to groups where it's people not even in the military. I've been working on this my whole life because I have PTSD, I have anxiety, I have bipolar. So I am around people constantly talking about this, and I'm telling you that some people have some people get traumatized because people are different. See, for you might have thick skin, right? You might have thick skin. If somebody's picking on you, you might just roll that off your shoulders, bro. And that's a good thing. But there are other people that's not built like that. And they're and mentally they're not strong. They could be the biggest motherfucker, the Arnold Schwarzenegger pumped out, like The Rock, working out 8 times a day, but their mind is fragile, bro. Their mind is
I
fragile.
never equated exercising with good mental health.
Well, you're just talking about eating right and drinking water, and you're fine.
That's what the fucking psychiatrist told me. Those are doctor's orders.
Well, I would just have to say that from my personal experience, I agree that you should be doing that. Listen, I want to make that clear. I'm not telling you or anybody that you shouldn't. You should always eat right and always try to exercise.
No shit, because
being out of shape will make it worse. But I'm telling you, there are athletes that are, and that's why I was going to refer you to an article. It was written by an athlete, a person that does, what is it when you do the what is it when you do the, it's not just one thing. I think it's called like a triathlon. It's when you do all three. You bicycle, you run.
Yeah, triathlon.
Yeah, the guy's he's a triathlete.
Okay.
And he struggled with depression his whole life. And he thought that eating right and running was going to make him feel better. And he says it does to an extent, but he was still depressed. He was still having racing thoughts. He was still.
I want to stop there though, because you made a very good. Right. No, wait, John. He did make a good point. A lot of people use the gym when they get stressed. I know a woman, and she said to me the other day, I really love my ex, and you know, since my breakup, I've had to be in the gym because it stresses me out. And she goes, the gym makes me feel better. But I think Shadow Ghost made a very good point. You can use the gym, you can eat well, you can drink well, but you need to fucking analyze the problem. Do not run away from that. I think this is something we got to remember. Even if you use the gym or eat well or drink well, you do need to get the assessment of help at that point and realize and take accountability that I have a problem and I need to get that seen to as well. Is that what you're saying, Shadow Ghost?
Yeah. Well, and look, I can like give you an example. Let's say, and I'm just going to use an example. Let's say when you was a kid, something happened, something very, very embarrassing, or maybe somebody tried to touch you, or maybe you was bullied, or maybe your father just never always told you that you never will amount to shit. Like, you know what I mean? Or you just had some constant things that fucked you up, bro. Now you just start now you go and just eat right and drink water and have a healthy lifestyle, right? But don't address that. Okay, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back, or it's not gonna go away. And the reason why I know this is because of the people that I deal with on a daily basis. Is because I know this, because I know people who think they could just go to the gym, do a couple push-ups, they're gonna be all right, or eat right, or stop eating carbs, and it helps. But I'm telling you, that's not. You need to address what's going on.
Let me clarify my point about the sleeping, the eating, and the hydrating. Now, look, fellas, that's to right the ship. That's to get you to put the fucking train back on the tracks, man, is what that is. You don't worry about the why during that phase. I guess I didn't mention that part of it, but you have to get those three things set first. You cannot worry about the why. You just can't. You got to get those three things set.
So let me ask you this. Because I agree with you, but let me ask you this. A lot of people that are depressed. Hold on. A lot of people that are depressed have intrusive thoughts. Do you know what intrusive thoughts are?
Yes.
Okay. So how are you going to tell yourself not to think about it when you have intrusive thoughts?
Because, brother, as time marches on and you're sleeping right and eating right and hydrating, and if you're fucking majorly depressed, then it doesn't take long before you start feeling better. I mean, it took me about 10 days. And you start feeling better right away.
You was fortunate.
No, I'm not fortunate. I'm just doing what the fuck. I was very fucking in a bad spot. And so you got to do these three things first, and you don't think about anything else. And then after you start feeling better and you get into this routine where you don't even have to think about it anymore, then you start asking why. Why was I engaging in these behaviors to begin with? And that way you solve the problems, what you guys are talking about, so you don't do the shit again. But at first, that was just too fucked up. I didn't care why. doesn't fucking matter. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, but isn't that because when you're very stressed out and things are bad in your life, or you're depressed, or you got some issues, your immune system is very weak anyway?
Man, I was
At
yeah.
the
You're
time when you're
absolutely,
stressed out like that, your immune system does get really weak, though, doesn't it, John?
you're absolutely right again, my man. And the thing about it is, I was so far beyond being stressed. You got to give a fuck to be stressed.
Mm.
I didn't give a fuck. What's there to be stressed about? I don't give a fuck. So that's the thing with that, is that you're stressed out only because you give a fuck about something, right? You got to get this done. You got to get that done. Well, I was
Hey, Rapstar, if I may,
Yeah.
let me just use myself as an example. I usually don't like divulging things, but I feel like it's probably the only way that it can help. Okay, I joined the military when I was 18, right? Before I joined the military, when I was 17, I went to Job Corps and I got a GED because I had dropped out. But prior to that, within those 5 years, my mother died of AIDS when I was 14, and my father was murdered when I was 18. Now, when he died, I had to get away. I was living in a bad area. I was living in Paterson, New Jersey, on Belmont Ave. It was a high crime area. Now I have no parents. And the last thing that my father, I remember him telling me is, go to Job Corps and get a trade. I go to Job Corps. I get a trade there. I talk to a recruiter. He's like, so what is your trade? And I'm like, right now I'm doing carpentry and masonry. He's like, oh, great. We have a MOS, a mission objective specialty in that. You could do that there. There are plenty of jobs that you could do in the military. It doesn't even have to be involved in infantry, even though mine was connected to infantry once I got there. But I was in great shape, even when I was in the military. And there was times where I didn't even have time to think about my parents. You know what I mean? Because of my busy schedule. I need to be here. I need to be there. I need to be here. I need to be there. And I'm telling you, there were times where I would get these intrusive thoughts out of nowhere. I could be having the best day of my life, bro. I could be chilling with a girl, not drinking. I'm not talking about drinking, smoking, whatever. Just having a great day, man. It's a beautiful day outside. You know, just got done working out, chilling with a girl. And I would get these intrusive thoughts of my father or my mom. And these are memories that have caused trauma. And I agree to the fact that you need to be healthy, because if you start drinking and you start being overweight, that's going to cause more things to your immune system, which in return will make you worse. So yes, I agree that you should do that, but I disagree when you say that that if you just do that and just not give a fuck and just don't think about it, it'll go away, because people have intrusive thoughts.
Say that.
People. No, you said don't think about it. Drink right, eat right, and then later on address what's going on. Don't think about it at that time.
That's right, because
how do you do that if you have intrusive thoughts? How do you do that if you have intrusive thoughts? I'm asking you that though.
Well, you're gonna have to man up sometime, man. And
there you go. And Rapstar, I'm glad he said that. This is why the military people are so people don't want to say people. Hold on, please, hold on, no. This is why people don't want to admit. This is why they don't want to admit that they don't want to tell their sergeant they're depressed. They don't want to tell their officer they're depressed, because other people tell them that they weak and man up. And then you know what happens? That shit builds up. Yeah,
you know what?
So it's exactly.
Now let's get to the problem. Let's get to the problem. Look. Let's get to the problem. I have to respect, and we as men today have to respect, that another man has come here and said, look, I face these problems in my life. Why do we as men have to be harsh towards other men?
No, now, it's not that, man.
No, but can I finish, John? Look.
All right, yeah, sure, go ahead, bro.
Come on, look. Men are designed here not to have no sympathy for another man. You know, at the end of the day, come on, let's keep it real, bro. We all bleed the same. We want to see each other in the ring. We want to see another man inflict pain on another man. But when a man comes here and says, look, man, my life was like this, my life was like that, and this is what I faced. And at the end of the day, there was some stuff that happened to me. And because of those problems, I had these problems. Why can't we always, as men, why do we put men down so quickly? You know what? How are men gonna help other men? How are we going to come to a channel where another man's going to ever tell us his problems if we're never going to be listening to the problem? If we are not designed to give any other man an opportunity to kind of have not even sympathy, I'm saying, but at least understand the man's problem before you jump at his throat and say, yo, you know what? I don't agree with you because no, you're weak. Man, listen, that's why men don't even come out with each other's problems.
And Rapstar, that's why there was such a high suicide rate prior to in the military, because if you told somebody that you was feeling this way, they would say, man, the fuck up. Man, the fuck up. Don't think about it. And in actuality, what's happening is now they're going to be like, something's wrong with me. Okay, I'm feeling this way, but everyone's telling me to man up. But I'm still feeling like this. But now something must be wrong with me. I must be tainted. I must not be normal because everyone's telling me to man up. But yet I have these thoughts. I have these things that are going on, and I can't stop it. I can't. It's affecting my sleep. It's affecting my life, even if I'm trying to be healthy. And that what happens is they don't say nothing, and then these are the people that eventually either break down and kill themselves, or they flip the hell out and they try to kill as many people as they can before they take themselves out. And that's just the fact. And that's why
not nice, yeah, because the men have to hold all their problems inside of themselves.
Right. So if you're telling somebody to man up, if you're telling somebody to man up, Rapstar, right? Yeah. If you came to me and said, hey, Shadow, I've been feeling a certain way, and I just tell you, hey, Rapstar, you know what, man, just man the fuck up, man.
No, but this is where men are very shallow, John. But men are very shallow. If it was women, if you see a woman who's gone through half of what Shadow's gone through or had some kind of problems, and she has this problem, a woman would be, you know what, she needs help, man. You know what, I want the best for her. I hope she does better. I hope, you know what I mean. I hope that you know what, I admire her because she can speak about it, and now she's dealt with her problems. Instead of saying, well, you know what, Shadow Ghost can speak about it, that he's been through these problems, that he's willing to, understand it and understand the problems, that he knows that what the problems were, that he's willing to share it with other men, that men tell him now, make him feel like, oh, you got a problem, bro, you're weak or this. That means you're telling the man that he's crazy anyway. When he's got a problem, he's telling you, yes, I have, it's caused me a problem. John, what do you think about that? Because you did say that, John. You said man up.
Listen, just let me clarify, Rapstar. You're right, I did say that. And Shadow God bless him, he wants to mix military and civilian life, and that's mixing apples and oranges, and he knows it. But look, what I meant was this intrusive thought thing, that's not part of what I had. And so it's not part of major depression. And if you go a week or 2 weeks with what I'm telling you, and you have these kind of thoughts and you can't control them, then you need some kind of medication or something. Okay, there's something else going on there. But I had got diagnosed with major depression. I didn't have any intrusive thoughts. All I wanted to do was get better. That's it.
Yeah, but everybody has a different problem, right, John? You had a different problem.
Well, right? See, and this PTSD and all that's a military thing, and this man up, that's a macho military thing. And there's all kinds of problems that are unique to the military that aren't necessarily.
Yeah, but it wasn't just his military. You got to understand, Shadow Ghost also had some trauma. I don't know if the word trauma.
Got some post-military experience.
I mean, but you got to remember, right? At the end of the day, Shadow, can I ask you, when you said you had these thoughts coming to you, and you were even having great days, and these thoughts had come to you, it wasn't like you was over-analyzing anything or overthinking anything at the time, were you?
No, I wasn't thinking about it. And just because somebody has major depression, he might have different symptoms, and I have different symptoms, but intrusive thoughts fall under major depression, fall under anxiety, fall under obsessive compulsive disorder, it falls under a lot of categories. And that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone is different. Like, now there might be a person that has a slight depression, or might just have something, they got fired or something like that, or just something that they haven't been dealing with. They've been putting it on the back burner, and it's not as serious. But my whole thing is that I feel like everyone is different. And to say as a whole, to just be healthy or just man up. It's not going to work for everybody. And that's why a lot of people that feel this way, a lot of times they don't tell nobody because they don't want to be looked at that. Me, I don't care. I've gotten to the point where if another person tells me to man up, I already know what I've been through in my life. So I'm like, it is what it is. You can tell me to man up all I want because I know what I've done. I know what I've done in my life. What?
How did you finally get better with the? I want you to be able to look. If you already said this, you might be able to help one kid today. He might be feeling what you felt in your life. How did you slowly start getting better with it, and what did you do in order to understand that you had that problems?
Okay, well, I will say this. Like I said, everybody is different. I
Yeah,
could
what
tell you
works
what
for
worked.
John
I
doesn't
could
work
tell
for you.
right. What
Yeah,
works for John doesn't work for me, and what might work for me don't work for John. But I'll
yeah.
tell you what helped with me. Number one is I got off a medication that they were giving me because in my case, I don't do well with a lot of medications. So I did, I was eating healthy and drinking right and stuff like that. One of the things I did is I got more in tune with my now, like I said, everyone's different, but one of the things I do is I read the Bible and it gives me comfort knowing that I believe in God and knowing that I believe in Jesus. I feel
Amen.
like
Well, there you go.
it
That's how
gives
you
me
deal. I wasn't going to play that card,
well,
but
no,
that's
and
how
that's
you.
what I'm saying. Everybody's different, and this is what I'm saying. This is what
Well,
worked
what I'm
for
saying,
me.
no, all I was going to say was that's how you deal with intrusive thoughts is through prayer.
And well, what I'm saying is there's people that kind of like they're not spiritual, and or finding their way. Because I could tell you this, I could be completely honest with you. Before I went into the military, I was angry. I was angry what happened to my parents, and I said, "What the hell? Like I've lost both of them." And I thought to myself, if there's a God, He must hate me because why would He
Well,
allow that? And I had that mindset for the longest, and that's why I even though that worked for me, it's not easy to just go to somebody and say, "Okay, hey, this is what's going on with you. Okay, I need you to just try not to think about it. Read the Bible, eat right, drink right." Just go do what you got to do, and don't think about it when it comes. Just don't think about it. It's like saying don't think of a pink elephant right now.
Mm.
no,
You're gonna
you
think
pray
of
to
it because I
God
just
for
told you
strength.
because it's in your mind.
You
And
pray to God
intrusive
for
thoughts,
strength that you can deal with these thoughts and that
right?
He'll rid you and set you free is
But I
what you
do
do.
I do agree with you on one thing, John. I do agree with you on one thing. There are people out there, right, that if they just eat right and just get because they could have a chemical imbalance from not being healthy, and if stuff that they're eating, stuff that they're doing, drinking, doing drugs,
Hey,
there are
look,
certain people, if you just cut that out and you just start becoming because I do believe that physical it doesn't hurt. It definitely doesn't hurt. It only can help because when you're out of shape and and you're hurting yourself and you're not healthy, it builds on top of it. But physical and mental, they go together, but you could still be in top physical shape and have not be mentally strong or have problems with your anxiety or mental or intrusive thoughts and depression. I mean, I've seen the biggest built guys be complete pussies, bro. And that's just that they were
well,
weak minded.
you said yourself.
They were weak minded. And when I say weak minded, I'm not saying it as it's different between manning up because I admit at one point I was weak minded, but see
Well,
I
I'll
didn't
tell you what.
realize I was
I'm gonna tell you this though, Shadow, because there's a
yeah
lot of men I've met because of when I had to fight for my kids. I've
yeah
seen a lot of single dads that actually, I'm gonna keep it real with everyone. They act like they're really strong and shit, but because they didn't deal with their divorce properly, or they didn't deal with their woman properly, or they lost their children, they end up drinking every day and then end up having some mental illness.
Yeah,
I've
because
seen men.
you drink and
I've seen men have mental illness over their fucking ex marriages and kids.
yeah. I have
You
a
know,
friend. I got a friend who was bullied his whole life, bro. And this guy right now, he's 6'1", built as hell, built as a truck because it's a defense mechanism. It's a defense mechanism because he remembers he got bullied when he's still. And I tell him, bro, it happened when you was a kid. Look at you now. Ain't nobody fucking with you now. But it's still it's still, and he has to deal with that. And that's one of the things that he's trying to deal with. And trauma comes, it's sort of like how they say the devil doesn't come to you the way he is. The devil doesn't come with a pitchfork or being all ugly. He comes in looking like a nice woman or looking like a good thing, you know, and he tricks you and he tells you what you want to hear. Trauma sort of is like that, where trauma, you don't know what might cause you trauma. You could go swimming and almost drown, and now you're traumatized every time you see water. Or like myself, I did not like fire. My father died in an arson. He was murdered in an arson. I don't like fire. Fire triggers a lot of bad memories for me. A couple months ago, I went to go throw my garbage out, and I had my air fryer on, and I came back upstairs and it was smoking, and I had a panic attack, bro, like no other. And because it just started bringing these memories back of what happened to my father when he died in a fire. So it's trauma comes in so many different things. But I do agree with the fact that, you know, eating right and drinking right and being healthy can only help. It's not going to hurt. You know, nobody's going to say, hey, if you're healthy, it's going to hurt. It's definitely going to help.
I never said it was a cure-all. I said that is the start. You have to do those three things before you can do anything else, is what I said. Now, that doesn't mean that I started doing that and 2 weeks later I was fucking fine. I'm still working through my shit after hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of talking to this person, okay, about all to try to figure out the why, okay? Yeah. But all I'm saying is that you got to start somewhere to start getting better.
Oh, yes.
And anybody who's sick, I don't give a fuck what kind of mental illness it is. And you said yourself when you were in the military that, or you knew somebody that was, they had intrusive thoughts and they couldn't sleep at night. Well, there's one of the three things. See, they can't sleep at night. You got to sleep, you got to eat, you got to stay hydrated. And listen, man,
Shadow Ghost.
There ain't nothing in this world worse than losing your mother. And I can't imagine losing my mother at 14. So God bless you, brother. That's a swift kick in the nuts. And I was 50 years old when my mother died, and it fucked me all up. So, yeah.
So would it be fair? Would it be fair to say that a man's, you know, listening to your stories, and you know, I think I've always been at my worst when I've had the most saddest time in my life when I lost my sister. I've got to be honest with you. It was a bad time for me. Now, yeah, I was stressed out, but at the end of the day, I had a connection with my sister. So what I'm saying is it one of your saddest times in your life that sometimes some people, you know, they get very stressed out, but they deal with it in different ways? Like, is it a man's sadness? Is it true? A man's sadness can, you know, put a man into a situation where, you know, when a man goes through trauma or a man goes through situations, they don't talk about it like women do. Men don't talk about their problems like women do because men get judged. Today, no matter what any man says, if Teofimo Lopez said that he wanted to kill himself, or he says, I got problems with my wife, I'm losing my child, men don't relate with people's problems. They don't give a fuck about.
Hey, I'll tell you this. Anybody who says that a woman can't drive them crazy, then you haven't met my son's mother. How about that? That's what I tell them. But, you know,
because people don't realize when a woman is connected through your child.
Exactly.
She has your kid.
I got 99 problems. I got 99 problems, and bitches are all of them.
You know, but the main thing I want to say just real quick though is John, I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that you're wrong, because I don't feel like you're wrong. I feel like it's the main thing. I just want to get a point across is everyone's different, and a perfect thing is this. You know, when some people get depressed, all they do is eat all day. You know, I was one of the ones that if I got really, really depressed, I didn't eat. There were some people. Yeah, there were some people when they get depressed, all they do is they go to the gym and work out. There were other people when they get depressed, they don't have energy. They just stay in bed all day.
No, look, I think we're kind of
and some people sleep all day. Some people can't sleep. You see what I'm saying?
Now, well,
to be fair with you, I think the answer of all the, and I don't want to say demons, but the answer of all man's problem. Look, I gotta be honest. A human cannot help a man. A man cannot help another man. We can see that, right? Shadow? Right?
I
Spiritually,
think you have to admit, you have to, like John said, that I do. That's, to me, that's the main thing. Like, I don't care if you're an alcoholic. I don't care if you're a drug addict. I don't care if you're depressed. I don't care if you have PTSD. I don't care what it is. Number one thing you have to do is admit that you have a problem.
Accountability that you have a problem.
Yes, because if
And
you
then
don't do
once
that, you're gonna
have
lie
that
to yourself.
problem, I think once you have that problem, you got to recognize there's a spiritual soul inside of you. And that spiritual soul needs to connect with the higher above you. And once you connect between you and God, nothing can stop you, bro.
Amen, my brother.
Yeah,
Raphael,
amen.
would you
Amen to
highlight
that.
Peter Von Ark's comment?
Yeah, amen to that. And I, I'm a firm believer that, Jesus Christ has worked miracles in my life. But I know that there are people that don't believe in God, and that's another thing. It doesn't work for everybody. But I do want to end with this because I just wanted to hop in because this is like always a touchy subject for me, because I think it's good to talk about. My whole point is I think it's a good thing to talk about. I think that if you are feeling a certain way, now this might be harder to do. It's hard. It's easier said than done, is what I mean. And I'm talking about to anybody in the comments, to anybody that's listening to this. If you're feeling a certain way and you're around people that are telling you to man up or put your bootstraps on and cut that shit out and just live life, you don't. My advice to you is to go to somebody and tell somebody that's willing to listen, somebody that's willing to talk, because I'm telling you right now, 9 out of 10, that always makes it worse, because that person is going to start thinking that there's something definitely wrong with them now. How come this guy, he's telling me to man up? How come he has no problems? How come this is what's going through your mind? Man, there's something really wrong with me now. And now you don't want to say nothing. And now it just keeps getting bottled up. And then till one day, something really bad's going to happen, bro. Something really bad is going to happen, whether you do it to yourself or you do it to somebody else, or you go get high, you go commit a crime, you go get yourself in trouble, whatever it is. And I feel like it's a good thing to talk and admit that there's something that you need help, because I don't care how tough you are, how big you are, how muscular you are. You can cry like a little baby, just like anyone else, if you get to that point.
Well, I couldn't tell you how many tears I shed. Hey, Rapstar, you there, bro?
I'm
Maybe
there,
not.
bro. Rick Glazier just
Peter,
you wouldn't
Peter
believe
Von
it,
Ark's
John.
made a good comment. I want you to highlight Peter Von Ark's comment about his wife.
Where is it?
It's just a couple back on his. The fuck did he say? Oh, fuck! I can't find it.
Yeah. I was sad for 2 years after my wife died.
Where?
Time.
Right there.
That's a normal mourning, grieving period by a man who's mentally stable, is what that is. Okay, that's how things are supposed to work. But when my mom died, I didn't give a shit about nothing, man. Zero. And there wasn't any kind of grieving or mourning, because I still haven't dealt with it. And so that's an issue when we were talking about why. Well, I haven't even got to that yet, man. I got years of this shit now of getting better. But so that's.
I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are doing better, bro, because even still to this day, I think of my parents and I see on TV, when they say, when something happens and they say, I just want closure. To me, their closure maybe for somebody that it might help them, but what'll help me is getting my parents back, and I'll never get them back.
But what you got to recognize, though, I just want to say this: we all have suffered this situation.
Yeah.
And I know that when we lose our loved ones, sometimes it's tough because we never get to ever embrace what we had. But what I do know is everybody has to face this. See, life ain't going to be great for everyone. We're always we're going to always lose somebody in our life, or we're going to always have some sadness in our life. Nothing is perfect. Life is teaching you nothing is perfect. And I want to say this: how do you think Mike Tyson feels that his daughter got killed his own beautiful little daughter, Mike Tyson, has to live with it every day that she died on a treadmill.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And she got strangled on a fucking treadmill. Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson, doesn't even want to speak about it because it kills him.
That's
right.
But
We all have to suffer some kind of trauma, bro. We
And,
all
and,
have to
and you
suffer
know what it
some
is,
kind of
Rapstar
trauma.
too. Trauma.
And I feel it's unfortunate, but you know what? I know this is tough.
Yeah.
But we got to take accountability to know life is never going to be great. We might have great times.
Yeah.
But we have to accept we're going to lose everybody. And one thing is guaranteed, and I'm going to say this to everyone today: death is guaranteed. We're all going to die. We all have to leave this planet. So we have one brain, one heart, and what we need to think of, I know this is tough, but emotions is the biggest enemy when it comes to men as well. Emotions is the worst enemy for humans. When you are so emotionally attached to your thoughts and yourself, sometimes it breaks down the best people in the world because they got so much passion and so much love for different things that because sometimes the emotions will take over your intelligence and bring you down.
Hey, Rapstar, just real quick, bro. That's so crazy, bro, that you're talking about this. Let me show this real quick, bro. This is how I know it's good. This is how I believe in God, because I don't believe in coincidences. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't believe in coincidences. Right here. Oh wait, I haven't been on here in a while. I don't know if you could see me. I put my camera on just real quick just to show you. Right here. One of the things I work with, I have like all these packets that I get from the VA, right? And a lot of them, like we've been talking about, John, in Rapstar, like it's got it's got Bible scripture on here. You know what I mean? It's got a lot of things on here, and it's kind of crazy because a lot of things that we talk about today have been touched on. But one of the chapters I'm on right now, check this out, is about exactly that, bro. It's about it's basically, it's like what Rapstar said. So for the longest, doctors have tried to tell people that once you get your medication right, once you eat right, and they do say that. They do say, you know, once you're healthy, once everything is okay, then you'll get a grasp. And now they're starting to realize that I have to accept, this is the chapter I'm on right now. I have to accept exactly what Rapstar said. I have to accept that it's not going to be great my whole life. I'm going to have this for the rest of my life. I'm going to, just like how a person is a recovering alcoholic and they are recovering for the rest of their life, it's the same thing with what I have. With what I have with my major depression and my PTSD, this is something that is not just going to go away tomorrow. I have to be working with this for the rest of my life. And I have to realize it's not just going to go away. It's not going to be like 10 years from now. Okay, good, it's gone. Because the trauma has already happened to me. It's dealing with it and accepting that you have something wrong with you. And that's why accountability is so important.
Yeah,
and that's kind of crazy that you said that, Rapstar, because that's actually the chapter I'm on right now. Is you got some people that think like, they'll say like, oh, you know, I'm not depressed anymore, or, you know, that was a long time ago. And the reality is I need to say to myself, it's not going to go away.
That's right.
Like,
you know,
you are, let me tell you this, right? No word of lie. You wouldn't be normal if you had some love for your parents or had something for your parents that you wouldn't think about them all the time. That wouldn't be normal either. So for me, it's just understanding accountability and say, okay, you know, after this life, I'm sure I will be with everybody, or I'll bump into everybody in the next life. You know, there is ways of keeping your life where it needs to be, because at the end of the day, no matter how much we love my mother, my parents, or Tyson loves his daughter, or Peter, you know, Peter Von Ox, you know, he was sad that he lost his wife. That's natural.
Yeah.
These things are natural for us. It's just that men don't talk about them. And I think we got to remember this. We're human beings. We're not fucking machines. And we don't want to talk about things because we feel like people are going to belittle us, or not even we care anymore. But I think people feel that men don't understand, or you can't talk to your friend like you talk about boxing, about your life. But no, boxing is life. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, we're not perfect. We have problems. Guess what, though? Are we able to understand these problems? Are we able to stand here and say, you know what? Everybody had problems before us, and there's
Yeah.
only two things left in life. You either grow to be a wise old man, or unfortunately, you become an old fool because life takes you somewhere else.
Yeah. I wake up every day and the first thing I do is I thank Jesus for my son. I thank him for my life, even that everything that's happened to me. And I was going to ask you guys a question because it's something that I'm pretty sure we all do. Have you guys ever been, I think this is completely normal. Have you guys ever had like a bad day or something's wrong or something's going on in your life, right? And you look at another person that has it worse than you and you say, well, at least my life's not like that. Like you look at like another country where they have to walk three miles to get water, or they can't even talk about Jesus or whatever. Like, have you ever said to yourself, well, at least my life is not that bad? And my whole thing is, how do you feel? How do I ask this question? I think that there's something that's like, I feel bad when I say to myself, like, for instance, if John was to tell me he lost like 5, 10 family members in one day, right? And I lost my parents. And I said to myself, man, well, at least my life's not like John. Is that even like, is that even right? You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad when I say at least my life isn't like that. But a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that and go, at least my life's not like his.
No, that's not a Christian wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad when I try to think, because to me it's like it's putting that person in a category. And
I mean, every man, Debbie, that's normal as well. When a man's
it is normal, though, right?
Let me tell you why. When a man's driving his car and you see a man there begging on the street, sometimes, if you got time, you throw a pound in there, or you guys might throw $1, right?
Yeah.
A buck. But sometimes I do think, man, look at what life has blessed me.
Yes.
I appreciate life, but I have to look at somebody's pain. When I went and worked in China years ago, I went and imported merchandise from a country, like in a province in China, a province which was a poor city, a factory, where I needed to get this merchandise for a big company years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to a country like China, yeah, and I thought, you fucking British people are fucking spoiled. I said, the people in England are so fucking spoiled. They haven't seen nothing. They haven't seen poverty. They haven't seen. Do you know what was worse? Let me tell you something, and I'm going to let you guys speak. The worst thing I ever saw in my life, I was in China, and I was with this agent who was translating English for me. And he took me somewhere as we were coming back, and I saw these children. And I gave this kid a couple of, like, a Chinese dollars, right? It was about £1, and he went crazy. He goes, I need to show you. Took me somewhere. I know it wasn't that this is what they made the country look like. There was a deformed child on the street begging. This kid had a long neck and he looked like a deformed kid. He didn't even look that much of it. Like, you could see he was deformed. I asked the man, what the fuck is going on, bro? Just give him some money, let me go. Because I didn't want to stand there. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was a deformed child begging on the street. Like, you could see one of his eyes looked somewhere else. His neck was so slim that the neck was 2 times the size of anyone's neck. I said, this doesn't look right, bro. I asked this man, what the fuck is going on? Afterwards, he goes, you know what? I don't want to sound bad, but there's some Chinese people which are like gangsters. They go around different towns. They when they get abandoned children, they take these kids and they deform these kids and they make them look like some really deformed people so that people can throw money at them for like sympathy. This thing exists in a country like that. I said to myself, fucking hell, bro. You're telling me they pick up these children and they make them look like deformed human beings to beg? He goes, yeah. I goes, man, I've had enough of this country.
That's an old gypsy trick. They'll put a rock in a kid's shoe and make him kind of limp, because he's got a rock in his shoe. Please, mister, can I have a pound? Can I have $1? It's an old gypsy trick.
Yeah, but look at how sickening that is, bro.
Well, yeah.
Right?
That's why I don't like it when they say Tyson Fury's
And
white.
when I came back to my country, Shallow Ghost, I felt like it is the truth. When you look at other people's pains, worse than your pains, and you've ever seen things in your life that wake you up, you start to appreciate life and think about life in a different perspective.
And that was my question, Rap Star. Do you ever feel like people might think I'm crazy for thinking this, but I think is that a bad thing?
No, it's not.
Is it bad for me to say well, at least my life isn't like this person's? Because then it's I don't know,
No, it teaches you to learn to appreciate that.
Hey,
there's so much.
Shadow guy.
Listen, we're talking over here. Imagine what's happening to those children in Ukraine. What's happening in Israel every day? What the fuck's happening to these skinny children in Africa? We're oblivious to it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to know about it because it starts to make us probably feel a certain way, right? So we're being taught to even just move forward. Now, is that a bad thing? That we can see everything in front of our world, that if we want to switch on something, we can see some really sick shit right now, what's going on in the world right now. But we don't want to know. It's not our problem. Are we? Does that make us bad?
Yeah, I guess that's what that's what I mean. And I'm sorry, John. I know you was gonna say, just for instance, when I was growing up, I would see, and it's crazy because I ended up being an alcoholic and a drug addict too at one point. I'm a recovering drug addict. I don't drink. I don't drink no more because I know that I can't just drink just one. And but I would see somebody that's really down and out, strung out on drugs, and I would say to myself, damn, at least I'm not like that.
Yeah,
and then you take that, right, John, or Rapstar, you take that and that motivates you to not be like that. But what's so crazy is that I ended up being like some of these people because I broke down and I couldn't handle what was wrong with me.
Yeah, it's you're right. And that's listen, I just live 5 blocks from this place. It's like a 6-story hotel, but it's a supportive living place. And it's for people that have depression and bipolar and all this stuff we're talking about. Most of them are in little motorized wheelchairs. Most of them hold little signs that help me, please, I'm homeless, even though they live there. And you'll see them all over. And like the people that Rapstar was talking about, they stand with a sign at the intersection. These people are all mentally ill. Not a one. I used to think, before this happened to me, I used to think, man, this hustler over here is trying to chump me out of $1, right? Fuck that guy, was my attitude. He's a hustler. He ain't gonna fucking panhandle me, fucker, was my attitude. So, but once I went through this shit, now when that place I'm talking about, that is supported living place, it's right on the way to the cafe where I go to get a cup every morning. I go by there every day. And I see these people, and Rapstar, you're right. You put $1 in there, you put $5 in there, whatever you can spare. But I want you to do this. I want you to stop and ask them how they're doing. I want you to humanize them and make them feel like a person. Just say, hey, brother, how are you today? How are you feeling? How are things going? That's what they want, man. They just want somebody that gives a fuck.
But I will say this, though. I feel that society coming after us, especially with the way that a lot of people have lost faith in their own governments, especially after the pandemic and stuff like that, there's going to be a lot more mental illness and self-awareness that I think it's not going to get better. I don't know why, but I just don't see that the government and the world is putting funding into really helping society in not being mentally ill. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know what's kind of crazy about that too, and tell me if you guys agree with this, or anybody in the comment. Like, mental illness is it's similar to if a woman says he raped me, right? We don't know if that person's using that as an excuse or if they're really dealing with it. And that's you see what I'm saying? Like, so we were talking about the boxing, like I remember when Ryan Garcia said, I have something wrong. I need to step back, right? And you remember, Rapstar, I think we were talking about this, and it was like a couple of days later that he took a picture. I guess he went somewhere with his, I don't know if that was his wife back then, but his wife now. But he went somewhere, and then he uploaded a picture of him smiling or hugging with her. And somebody was putting in the comments like, "Bro, I thought you was depressed, though. I thought you was depressed." As if, and to me, that's kind of crazy because, bro, just because you're depressed doesn't mean you can't laugh for like 5 seconds out of the day. You know what I mean?
I'm saying, I was fronting all the time for 30 minutes at a time, man.
And that's what I'm saying. John, I would do that all the time, bro. I would tell people there's nothing wrong with me, and I would be smiling, cracking jokes, and deep down inside, I felt like I was dying, bro. And because I wasn't addressing it. And that's the thing I'm saying, Rapstar. Like, that's also a problem with this, because there are some people who use this stuff as like, I'm just gonna say this so they could back off me.
Yeah, I understand, and that's a culture that we don't want to embrace.
It's sort of like a woman. It's sort of like a woman when a guy breaks up with her and now she's jealous and she says, "Oh, Rapstar touched me." You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We don't know if she's telling the truth or not. She could just be doing that. And I think that's I think the only way to find out if somebody's really doing that is exactly what John said, talking to them. That's how you're going to know if they're really dealing with something. Because if a person is dealing with something, he's gonna tell you, like when he said you give a dollar to somebody and you say, "Hey, listen, hang in there," or this and that. In reality, that is what that person needs at that point. Yeah, he probably does need the dollar to go get something to eat, something to drink. But what he really needs right now is love and attention and working on whatever it is that got him in that position where he can't get up and go get a job like everyone else.
That's right.
And well, I actually think, John, though, I actually think right now it's a time that men need to stop running away from their motherfucking problem. And I'm not just saying men, because we have a majority man's boxing channel that I think I can't speak for women. Does that make sense, John?
I speak for women all the time.
But meaning like women deal with it differently. And I know women have a different emotion structure and how they deal with their situations. They're way more open than us.
That's right.
I can say that men are very, they got a lot of egos.
There's that machismo,
Men got a lot of egos.
You don't want to appear soft.
Yeah, they don't want to sound like they're having soft conversations. But look, I'm gonna say this to everybody right now. If anything I want from this conversation, that we are speaking about mental awareness, we are speaking about mental health. We're not in it for the fake shit. We're in it for the real stuff. People which are really going through this kind of a problem. And if you are going through this problem and you want to speak about it, you can always come on this channel and speak about it, because we won't judge you. In fact, we'll lift you up and we'll respect you that you acknowledge your problem, that you understand that there's problems and you want to either get help or you already have helped yourself or you're helping yourself every day. Because we understand that men are also humans. But what I'm going to say is just like Joker. Joker says, try having ADHD and what does he say? Asperger's.
Yeah, I just wrote him.
What is that syndrome? What is that syndrome?
ADHD is like, it's a paying attention.
No, but what's that syndrome? Asperger's syndrome.
That's not mental illness, Asperger's.
Right. So I don't know what this man Joker's going through, but look, Joker, I'll tell you this much. There's hundreds of thousands and millions of people going through what you're going through. Right? So you got to remember this, that you can get the help on social media. There's people which are suffering what you're suffering. And at the end of the day, one thing you got to know is that help is out there. But the main thing that you know is that you took accountability, that you understand that you got a problem. That's the first problem, innit, Shallow Ghost? Is taking accountability and knowing what you got to deal with and what you got to do.
And ADHD, in my opinion, I don't know how you guys have seen it, John or Rapstar, but in my opinion, ADHD is worse for people that are adults, because when you have it as a kid, you're a kid, you still have time to work on it, and I feel like your body is still developing. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it's harder for an adult that has it, because ADHD is literally your mind is wandering. It's hard for you to pay attention. Some people get aggressive. Some people, they can't sit down. And with everybody, it's different. And of course, what comes along with that? Depression, and then
Yeah.
anxiety. All this stuff goes hand in hand. And that's that's the main thing, Rapstar, is addressing it, because
But addressing it sooner is better than later.
absolutely, absolutely.
See,
And also
yeah.
what you said is the also another thing that I totally agree with is understanding somebody. Like, just because I lost my parents doesn't mean that somebody that didn't lost their parents doesn't have PTSD. I truly believe people that were picked on, people that had embarrassing moments in their life, that was so embarrassing, or they were hurt so bad, and they never addressed that. And I think it could happen to them. Now, there's different degrees of it, but I think that's the main thing, Rapstar, admitting and addressing it, and then also being understanding that, yo, I just because this worked for me, it doesn't mean he might need more work than me, you know, or less work. Who knows? And I think eating right and all that stuff helps. It does.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this as well, man. Sometimes as men, stop taking it inside, man, and start facing it. Realize that when she's gone, she's gone. You know, men also dwell a lot about women. When she's gone, she's gone. If she was not meant to be, she was not meant to be. Focus on your children, and that will make you feel better. Stop worrying about the past and your feelings too much. Because I know it sounds harsh, yeah, but what it is, you analyze too much. And I feel like when you get stressed, you think too much, and you're constantly thinking like that, then do other things that get you away from those thoughts. When you know that I am thinking certain things and they don't stop and they don't make you feel good, right? Start to find other things that can replace that. You know what I mean? You got to get quickly moving faster. When you know that things are taking tolls on your mind, then start to find other things that make you get away from those thoughts. See, the thought process of anxiety, stress, and then it leads into depression. The problem here is you've done too much over analyzing, overthinking behind closed doors that is put you into a situation that is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. It's time to, sometimes acknowledge your problems faster. So you're able to deal with your emotions with logic. And I know it's tough. I know it's not fucking easy. I know every time that when it gets to that point, some people want to be in that situation. They don't want to get out of it. Because you know what? You can't get them out of it until they're ready to even get out of it. You can try from black and blue. Sometimes somebody has to wake up and know they don't want to live like this anymore. You only live once. You don't live twice. And one thing is guaranteed. You got death. So try to enjoy certain parts of your life, no matter what's happened to you. Try to appreciate something every day. That's one thing I preach. Every day. Every fucking day, appreciate something in your life.
Amen. And address it. And look what this guy Adam wrote. I understand that right there. See, Adam wrote, you feel isolated and you don't want to weird out your friends. It's like, you don't want to tell people, you don't want to be around people because you don't want them to see that something's wrong with it. It all falls. This is what I'm saying. Like it all needs to be addressed. And I absolutely agree. Like, you need to address it, because there are people that are home. Have you ever met a homeless person that says he likes being homeless? Like, he chooses to be homeless. Like, I talked to a guy and I said, well, he was actually a veteran. And I said, bro, you can go to the VA and they got programs, bro. You don't have to live on the street. They got Section 8 for veterans now. They give you a voucher. You can go get cleaned up right now, bro.
But most before cleaning, Shadow, one thing people don't understand is when you become homeless for a while, you do need some mental health help as well. Because sometimes you've lost that that connection between you and your soul. You can get that way. Maybe people do become that way,
Well, it's kind of like a little bit what Adam said. Like, I believe some people they know they have an issue, right? But they would rather be homeless because to them they're isolated. They don't have to deal with people. They can wake up whenever they wake up. You see what I'm saying? And to them, it's addressing it is more work, and it, like, just the main thing for me, man, is just admitting that you have something wrong, admitting that it's not, you're not like some tainted individual, like nobody has it. You don't have this rare disease that you're the only one that has it. There's thousands and millions of people that deal with this, and some are more severe than others, and some people don't have to do a lot for them to get better, and some people have to do massive amounts to do better. It's just, I just think that's the main thing, and understanding somebody and admitting that you have an issue, because if you don't admit that you have an issue, how are you going to work on it?
No, that's fair enough, man. And I feel that sometimes we got to recognize that you got to know that when you got a problem, stop running away from it. Try to stand up, take accountability, and recognize there is problems. The quicker you recognize there is problems, sometimes it's tough, it's, it hurts, maybe whatever it is, but that's what makes you stronger. You start to get thick skin and recognize that this is the path that I've been given. And guess what? I know this sounds bad, but Consonery said this earlier. Where is he? Where's Consonery says? There's a difference between having a regular man chronic depression and mental illness. There's also different parts of people got different problems.
Well, somebody had wrote, there's a difference between having a disorder and a mental illness. I mean, mental illness is a generalized, if you look it up, it means all disorders.
Right.
So it's like a generalized thing. It all falls under that
term.
Yeah, it's a broad term, basically. It's like saying I'm depressed, but I'm bipolar. Bipolar falls under depression. It's, and you have major depression too, John. Yeah, that's what I've been labeled with, is major depression. And I have PTSD from the military, but I believe now, with everything that I've been going through, that my PTSD subconsciously started when right around the time that I joined.
I can't believe it didn't start when your mother died. If that wasn't traumatic, nothing would be, man.
Yeah.
So your problem.
Some people handle it differently, and you know why they say like people grieve differently? You have some people that can't stop crying, and then you got some people that they don't even cry. They're just like, I'm not talking about the person that murders their wife. You know what I mean? Not that person. I'm talking about the person that just he grieves different. He grieves different. Like, some people might say, well, I don't think he's grieving correctly. Well, I mean, there is no correct way to grieve.
Yeah, everybody grieves differently.
But the problem here is, I think the problem here is mental illness comes in different forms and formats.
Yes.
There's many different types of mental illness. There's mental illness where you could be psychotic. There's mental illness where you could be a serial killer, that the thoughts of you are crazy.
Yeah, that's psychosis, right? And shit like that.
Under
there are different forms of mental illness. There's mental illness that you couldn't help in your life. There's mental illness that you have self-inflicted on yourself by taking so much crack or meth.
Yeah,
that's right.
There's different types of mental illness. Bro.
Yeah, in short, right now I'm on psychiatry.org. It's one of the websites that I go to for when they list disorders and stuff. It says mental illness refers collectively to all diagnosable mental disorders. So it's a broad term. So if you have a mental disorder, it falls under mental illness. This is according to psychiatry.org. Patients and families, but I mean it's all different. But I think that talking has always helped me, like not bottling it up or whatever. And talking to other, what really helps me? Listening to other people that have issues. That's why I asked that question before, Rapstar.
So is there no form of, if somebody's feeling mentally ill in your state, is there no way of a 0800 number? Is there no way of them reaching out or being able to talk to others before they do more self-harm? Is there any kind of organization that know that you can help people and let them know what they can do?
For regular people, it's the suicide hotline, and for veterans, I'm a veteran, so there's a specific number for veterans, because I don't know if you guys know this, but veterans have like the highest suicide rate at this point.
Why
There
is
are
that?
I don't know. I've asked myself. I mean, it's one of the things that I'm learning. More veterans are killing each other today than they were 10 years ago, and then 10 years ago, it's more. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the world. I don't know how it is, but that they have a specific. In fact, when Trump was president, he instated it's called the White House VA number, which is still up. I thought it was going to be gone after Trump left, but it's actually still there. If anybody needs it, that's a veteran. It's a 1-800 number for the White House. It's a separate entity for veterans that are suicidal and or depressed. You call them and you can either just talk to them on the phone, or wherever you're at, if you need some help, they'll send somebody, pick you up, bring you to the nearest VA emergency room immediately, and you'll probably just like go up on the floor for a couple of days and just get checked out. You know what I mean? But yeah, and for people that are not in the military, there's a suicide hotline for that too, I believe.
Yeah, there is. And fellas, you want to be careful calling that suicide hotline, because you'll
Why?
have the cops showing up at your door in about 20 minutes.
Oh,
So make
really?
sure you
Does
know
that
that.
happen? Oh,
Yeah,
that happens.
it
Yeah.
does. Yeah. I mean, if you say that you're going to hurt yourself, they have to by law. And also there's also called, I forgot what it's called, but let's say you call them, right? Yeah, you do have to be careful. That's why I say, make sure you're really dealing with it. Don't just call because you feel like you just need like attention or something like that. Cause there's a difference. But you can call them, and if they feel like, so you might be talking to them, right? And they're asking you what's wrong. And there's like these red flag words that they have, or red flag phrases that people say. And if you like, if too many red flags go off, they'll send the police to your house. And there's even some points where even if you tell them, no, I'm okay now. I'm okay now. Now they can actually force you to go to the hospital just for like 72 hours. You know what I mean? That's rare. It doesn't happen all the time. A lot of times the person volunteers to go, but
That's
yeah,
what happened to me, bro.
they can force
You
take
know
you.
what they made me fucking do? You guys, for future reference, my brother Shadow here is 100% correct, as he seems to be most of the time. Look, I was in the emergency room first, and it was that cat there in the emergency room. And I can't believe I'm telling you guys that, but hey, fuck it. It's like a release for me. So look, this doctor there, now I had an attitude by this point. I just like Shadow said, I'm not depressed. What are you talking about? Okay. And this doctor, he was going to have me committed.
Yeah,
No, it's like, fuck that, man. I'm going
What do you
home.
mean? What do you mean committed?
So that you have to go. What he said, you're going to go to the psych ward for 72 hours.
And they force you, Rapstar. They force you. You don't have a
You,
choice.
they can keep you for 72 hours involuntarily, and then they have to have a reason before a judge to keep you longer than that.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, now look. So I'm in there in the emergency room, and this fucking Greek motherfucker. And I was like, fuck you. I was real belligerent and denying, of course, right, that I've had a fucking problem. And this guy clearly knew I fucking did. And he said, look, we're going to involuntarily commit you if you don't go voluntarily. But here's the catch. Fucking deputy came in because I was being belligerent and shit. So they said, look, man, we're going to involuntarily commit you, and it's going to take a while because they got to go get a court order for that shit. But they'll just have to go call a judge and boom, boom, bam, you're in. Or go voluntary, just get in right now. Sooner you get in, sooner you get out. Problem is, on a voluntary commitment to
I
a
think it's
psych
called
ward,
a 72-hour hold, right?
that's right. That's
Yep.
what I went in on. I was there. I went on Tuesday. I was there Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. I left Friday morning.
Yeah.
But the whole point with this involuntary and voluntary thing, when you go in voluntarily, you just lost your 40 card. And you'll never own a gun again. That's what that means. And so you just keep that in mind when they want to put you up there for that 72-hour hold. They're going to try to get you to go voluntarily. Once you have voluntarily committed yourself to a psych ward, you can no longer possess a FOID card. That's what that deputy told me.
And you know why they the reason why they say that they'll force you, right, is because they're saying that they'd rather be safe. They rather you go up there and get told, okay, he's okay, let's let him go, than to not do nothing and you hurt yourself or hurt somebody else. And that's actually happened. I mean, you could see it on TV. How many? There's a show that I love true crime. By the way, I watch true crime, and there's a show called I don't know if anybody else watches it. It's called Body Cam. It's Body Cam. It's about the cam that the police wear, the cameras that all police have to have.
Yeah.
And it just shows you their interactions. And there was this one guy, they got called out 2 times in one day. His roommate called. His roommate called and was like, hey, my roommate is acting funny. He's saying these things. I think he should go to the hospital. And they went there and they talked to him. And both times he ended up like telling the police, nah, I'm okay, man. I'm just upset, and one of the police officers wanted to give him a 72-hour hold, and his sergeant came and overruled him, said, nah, let's not force, let's give him another. And that night when they left, he killed himself. So
shit.
Yeah, it happens. And that's why they do that. If you say you have to be careful when you go to the hospital and tell them that you're feeling depressed. But
yeah, hey, Rap Star.
Yeah. I say this though, John, I say this though, if you are depressed, it's to me, this is me now. I don't speak for everybody. I can only speak on myself. To me, I would rather go to the hospital and tell them there's something wrong with me than for me to not go and try to keep dealing with it and bottling it up.
Yeah, right. And I just wanted to clarify.
But there's also levels. I think there's also levels to depression. If you're depressed and you're doing a lot about it, and you know that at the end of the day, there's things that you're sad about. You know what I mean? If it's like you might have lost your wife.
Different.
You might have lost your wife. You might have lost your girlfriend, right? But at the end of the day, you got to take accountability. They're not coming back.
Yeah.
You got to recognize that they're not coming back, and you got to move forward in your life.
Right.
You're not here. Look. We are not here, and I don't care how great of men we are. We are not here to self-pity ourselves. We are here to be dealing with negative into making them positive. That's what we're here for. We get one brain to learn what we need to do. We know what the answers are. We know what logically we need to do. So I don't think men. I know it is what it is, but they end up taking it out on themselves. You got to move forward with that, because that pain is only going to go with time.
Yeah. And a Rap Star, too, and I'm gonna say this before I get out of here. It was good talking to you guys, man. John and Rap Star. One thing, like, let's say for instance, let's say like my wife was to pass. I don't have a wife, but let's say I'm using an example, or I'm just gonna use my parents. I'll just keep using that. So I have to come to terms with that. I'm never going to have a mom again. I'm never going to have a father again. Right. And then what'll happen is you might go somewhere and then you're fine. Right. You're fine. You're having a great day. And then you see a family together. You see a mother and a father and their children together, and they're having such a great time. They're standing next to you. They're just, having family, and that could trigger thinking about it's happened, but I'm at a point where I don't just drop and stop what I'm doing, but it makes me think like, damn, I can't do that. Or like if somebody loses their son or their child, and then they see somebody else with their child interacting, it'll bring that back. Like, man, I don't have my son or anything anymore. And so that's why I say that I will forever be working on myself. It's just like being an alcoholic. It's just like being a recovering drug addict. And I'm even more at risk because you throw the military on top of that. So it's just for me, it works for me talking about it and hearing other people that talk about it, because it reinforces. That's why I keep asking that question. Is it wrong for me to say, well, at least I'm not the only one that has it. At least I'm not as bad as this guy or this person, because sometimes
that's a natural cause. That's how people think.
Yeah.
That look, I'm not as unfortunate as this person, or I'm not unfortunate as what this is. You know, at the end of the day, here we're talking. Tomorrow, somebody's losing their life. It makes you wake up again.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, we got to recognize we get so involved in our trances that we got to recognize what's doing every day to day. What is every day to day? That's what life is about. Every day to day, you need to learn to appreciate your life more and more and more because you get less and less and less time.
Yeah.
And, you
Oh,
know,
and one more thing, Rapstar, and helping people.
yeah,
Helping
that's a
some
big thing. That's a
that's a
big thing.
big thing, bro. Helping, like, I feel good. Like, for me, like,
Yeah.
I'll admit, bro, like 10 years ago, if you asked me for a favor, bro, I was just all about myself, bro. I really was. I was like, man, listen, I don't know what's going on with you. I'm working on, me. I am, but the problem is with me sometimes is, people try to take advantage of that, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, helping people makes me feel good because I know that there's other people that might feel like me or have similar things like me, and then you help them, and just knowing that you're helping them makes you feel better. And it's the reason why they formed AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, which doesn't work for everybody, by the way. But the reason why the Anonymous works is because a lot of alcoholics help other alcoholics, and because they're helping other alcoholics, that helps them stay clean. And it's very similar with mental illnesses, with therapy, but with mental illness it could be more one-on-one. I do both. I'm very fortunate. That's another thing. I thank Jesus every day that I'm very fortunate to have the VA, because I probably have a lot more things at my disposal than a regular person doesn't. But that doesn't mean that they don't have. There's always numbers and places that you can go. But
Yeah.
I get both. I get one-on-one and group treatment. Now, because of COVID, I don't go there in person for those appointments. I do those online. I still go
Yeah.
there physically and for everything else. But hey, listen, man, I appreciate you guys, man. Hey, Rapstar, I hope everything's been going well. And
Yeah, man.
if I
And
don't see
listen,
you, have a Merry
yeah.
Christmas, man.
Yeah, man. I was just gonna say you have a great Christmas, and everybody else out there, let's
Yeah.
get ready to enjoy Christmas. Because guess what? We made it to be here this Christmas, right?
Amen.
We need to recognize that we need to learn to appreciate the like I said, we need to learn to appreciate ourselves, and you got to learn to grow in yourselves. But Shadow Ghost, always, man. And let me tell
Yeah.
you
Hey,
something,
John, it was
Shadow
good.
Ghost.
Hey, John, it was good meeting you, talking to you, brother. Hey, hang in there, man. You already know. It seems like you know what's helping you, and just stay with it. You're gonna have those days. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. And that's the good thing about it is once you start realizing you have something, and that you know that what you have to do, you deal with it easier than you did if you just denied, I don't have, nothing's wrong, and it'll just get worse. But when I get those days, I have things I do that help me, and one of the things I do is pray. But for some people, they don't, for some people that's not their go-to, and that is, I mean, me, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, and that helps me. But that's why I say everyone's different. But everybody, man, God bless. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah,
And
don't
y'all
be
have
a
a good
I
night.
stranger, Shadow
appreciate that,
Ghost.
brother.
Don't
Huh?
be a stranger, brother.
No, I won't, bro. I won't. I've just been, I work and I take care of things and everything. But I still stop by. Obviously, you see. So it was good talking to you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
All
Respect
right,
to you, and I'll
take it
catch you
easy.
soon.
All
But
right.
look, anybody else who's facing any problems this year, you know what I mean? Look, man, we gotta remember this. We're only human. We're only human at the end of the day, right? So just like you recognize that there's problems in this world, there's always someone else who's got a worse problem too. You're not the only one facing those problems. So just recognize, man, that there's always tomorrow, and you got to learn to appreciate today. And just like John McSmith, he's had bad times, good times, but he's learned to take accountability and enjoy what he's got. And I think that's the main thing, is taking accountability and knowing that there is a problem. And then you grow from that. Because let me tell you something, as long as you stand by yourself, God won't let you down. As long as you stand by yourself through misery, through thick and thin, God will not let you down. Right? So you don't lose that spirit, you don't lose that strength. You keep fighting like a warrior, like a boxer. And
Like a Christ man.
that's why these boxers, I do believe they got mental illness too. I believe most of these boxers some of them do suffer from depression because they also are human beings. They get highs and lows. It doesn't matter sometimes what they're looking like in the front. Behind the scenes, they're also human. So, you know, fight through it. Don't ever quit. It's
Well,
all
that
about
sounds kind of
fighting
like
through
man
it,
up.
John.
Do what?
It's all about fighting through it.
Yeah, and look, I was lucky. I got a friend that's a psychologist, and he put me on this chick to talk to. And Shadow touched on it right there at the end that you gotta have. And look, I would have poo pooed all this 6 months ago, Rap Star, and called bullshit on it. But you gotta have somebody that you can be honest with and talk to for hours and hours and hours. So that's where I am now. You move away, you get your sleep and shit right first. You start feeling better. I was lucky. My old lady was actually my common law wife, and we were on the outs when all this shit happened. But since got back together. But uh, yeah, that's where you go with that. And that talking about it, like I said, I would have poo pooed all that stuff. I thought that was some weak ass shit, man. Why don't you just fucking man up, fucking gird thyself up by thy loins and fucking, you know what I mean? March on. But
For sure.
Gird up thy loins and march on. But fuck. But
John,
it's just learned, man. It took me a long time. I had to learn the hard way that ain't how this shit works. That you know, you can make it, but you got to have help. Is the reality. And if you think you're going to tough it out on your own, you're going to end up in a fucking ball of mush in a corner like I was. You ain't going to do shit by yourself. You ain't going to be. And Shadow was absolutely right. Ain't no manning up. Ain't no fuck none of that. Not when you're that depressed. And you just become.
Yeah, for sure. I guess if you get to a stage in your life that you're at that point, right? Then you do need to go get assistance, go get help, go get some kind of
Yeah, but you
counseling, and
can't, man.
get yourself back to
You
appreciating
can't.
living day to day, eating well, drinking well, hydrating well. That's all makes a lot of sense. Keeping your health intact. One of the main things I would say before I go is a healthy mind. A healthy body is also a healthy mind. A
Well,
healthy
there you go.
body is also a healthy mind. It's how you live day to day. You got to take care of yourself, bro. Stop fucking being lazy on yourself. Yeah, go on, John.
Oh no, you're absolutely right, man. And the thing you're talking about and what I'm talking about, that's what psychologists call baby steps. And so you start at square one with the eating, sleeping, hydrating thing, and then you just slowly add in more things as you go along until you're fucking finally functioning somewhat normal. And then you start moving away from that and focusing with talking to somebody about why these things happened anyway and figuring out why you got that way so you don't get that way again. Is how that works. It's a long process.
Yeah, I hear you, John. But you know what the main process is, John? Accountability, understanding, and moving forward with it, like you've done, like Shadow
Man,
Ghost has done. And
when they let me tell you about real quick about this. You got time?
yeah, go on.
About this psych ward, what it's like. It's the top floor of a 9-story hospital, and the elevators say no access to the roof, and stairways say no access to the roof. So you can't go up there and jump. And all the railings you would have in the bathroom and stuff are all welded with plates so that you can't wrap your belt around them. There's nowhere anywhere for you to wrap a belt or anything to hang yourself. There's nothing in there but a cot. Not even a bed, man. It's just a cot with a cushion on it. And that's it. And that's where you go for your 10 to 7 sleep. And then you spend the rest of the day in the common area, basically. You go in your room and read and shit if you want to, but that's how that place rolls. because if you're in there, then that's where they have to start. And so you have three. That's what he was talking about. That 72 hours. You have 3 days of that shit. And by that third day, I was like, "What the fuck am I doing in here? I feel fine." But that first day I was there, that was like a relief. It was like it's a relief that, wow, man, finally these people give a shit. Somebody's going to give me a hand. And so I slowly got better. By about third day of that, you're already feeling better. That's why they have it on 72 hours. You'd be amazed at just go to bed at night. Like it's 12:41, right? 12:43 a.m. my time. None of us should be awake in America at 12:43 a.m. You should already be in bed 2 hours ago. And that's the truth. And but I can get away with it because I've had the flu for 3 fucking days and I've been sick and shit. And all I've been doing is sleeping.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, John, one of the main things is, John, I appreciate you to be able to share your, your life experiences. And I'll tell you what, there might be people today who admire you to be able to speak about it like that. And also Shadow Ghost and whoever else has come on the chat, which have had problems. We're all fucking humans. We're all going to have problems, right? At the end of the day, we're not perfect. But don't overdo it on yourself and don't make the problems worse. Because guess what's going to happen at the end? It can either get only worse or you get back to where you need to be slowly and get better. That's the only two ways it can end up, right? So it's good that you guys have took accountability of your problems and always dealing with it. And it shows that you always, it's good to show people that there's, like, after your experiences, that many people can deal with them. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And that's a great thing. But only on Rap Star Boxing Knowledge does boxing.
Yeah, man, it's great you have this topic on here, Rap Star, and quite honestly, I can't believe I told you guys all this crap.
No, but it's good, man. It's good that you've been able to deal with it in life.
Because if any
one day somebody might watch this, and you never know, and they say, you know what? I've had enough. I've had enough. Anything can happen. I'm going to say this as well. Men, when it comes to women, they really do start to get really depressed. When it comes to fucking women, men do get very depressed. And this is where men need to recognize. And I know it's going to sound funny, but when the pussy's gone, the pussy's gone. And I'm just talking about that particular subject. Because I've seen people come on my chat, and I'm going to say this. Of course, I'm talking about your girlfriend or your missus, which is no longer wanting to be with you. I'm not talking about your missus that, that's different. If you've lost your girlfriend or your partner and she passed away, of course you're going to be sad for the rest of your life. That's different. That's a whole different connection. I'm talking about the woman who no longer wants to be with you. Let her go.
Let me tell you something about that.
The quicker you let that feeling go, if it's not meant to be, at the end of the day, the quicker you live with yourself. Because I'll tell you this much. She ain't going to fucking dwell on you as much as you might be dwelling on her. I'm just saying. It's easier for a woman to get nurtured by another man and straight away they want another woman than you would be sitting there thinking about your sorry ass. I'm just saying. Men do dwell. I've seen it a lot in England. I've seen it with my mates. Men do dwell over their girlfriends leaving, over their wives leaving. And I understand it. But that takes a lot of men down. I'm just saying that particular problem does take a lot of good men down over a woman. But go on.
Well, that's because it's not that because they particularly want the woman, they just don't want her fucking somebody else, is what that is. And I learned at a very young age that when this chick broke up with me, I acted all sad and shit, but I was happy as a motherfucker because now I can go out to bars and shit and go fuck more pussy, which is what I wanted to do anyway. And what you do when they dump you like that, you use that as on one of her friends. Oh, she broke my heart and and he start feeling on her titties and getting to her panties, kind of thing. Okay, that's how that works. I learned that at a young age. When a chick broke up with me, I was ecstatic. I never gave a fuck ever. When my first wife left, I didn't give a fuck. Great, I'll go chase more tail. I didn't give a shit. So I never understood the that part what you're talking about, other than it's a control thing with guys. They don't give a fuck about her. They're glad she's gone. They just don't want her fucking anybody else. That's when they trip.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
I
you're
never
right.
cared. I never gave a fuck. Go fuck her if you want to. I don't give a shit.
So Peter says 85% of divorces are brought on by the women. Think about that. Peter also says it's always the woman that fall at the least most of the time. And a woman can be attached to a man that abuses them. It's a mental illness on both within the relationship.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But John, appreciate your time. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. I know it's been a very sensitive topic, but boxing translates to life. And we got to remember, when you touch on mental illness, yes, there's people which use it, and they use it for the wrong reasons. We've seen, we can see that's also being part of it. But when it's real mental illness, you've got to have self-awareness. And you've learned from people which have had it, and, people which have had problems. They've come over here today. And I know this topic's not for every boxing fan. Today's topic wasn't an uplifting topic. Today's conversation wasn't a very uplifting conversation, but it doesn't mean we don't talk about it, does it, John?
No, like I said, I'm shocked I even said anything.
Well, there you go. I'm glad I'm being able to help. I'm glad that, you guys are helping by others hearing about it. And that's what it's about. We got to make negatives into positives. We got to make negatives into fucking positives, bro. That's what this is about. But look, at the end of the day, I'm going to catch you guys on the next live. But like I said, boxing translates to life itself. I'm out of here. I'm going to leave you with Tracy. John, I'll catch you soon, mate.
God bless, my brother.
Always, John. Always.
Right, what's going on here, Donny's on the next? Barry's actually going to propose to Sandra. Sandra has been giving Barry mad head lately, and he's witch, yeah? He's doing this behind the back of the boys because they know, yeah, they would have cussed him out for proposing to Sandra. Tracy had one job to do, and that was to record it. But she's all over the bloody place. Barry's clocked that she didn't get the footage, so he's going to propose to Sandra again. Oh, for fuck's sake, Tracy! What's going on?